You stay where you are.
That's how you get done.
Right? Now, if you disrespect somebody in their neighborhood, or instead of doing that, if you're like, and you run away, what did I just do to those people in their neighborhood?
Disrespect.
I just disrespect them. That could trigger a predatory response. Like, they were just fine, but now what's the problem with us? Like, why are you doing that? So as you're walking up, 3 guys sitting on a stoop, sipping out of paper bags, you get a little bit closer, they all stop talking and look. If they're looking at me in that neighborhood, I might not belong there. Who's this guy? Is that a natural reaction for them? Sure. Now, if they all look, they stop talking. They were laughing and joking, but they all stop talking. 2 of them get up, they tuck their chin, and they walk across the other side of the sidewalk. Now, what are we feeling?
Yeah, now for the poppers.
So, are we starting to see some pre-attack indicators here, where 9 o'clock in the morning, there's some alcohol involved, they stop talking, and 2 of them split, and now I got to walk between these guys to get where I'm going. You see where this is starting to add up to a bad day. Just like that lady in the crosswalk, wet street, active traffic, don't cross sign is there. You see how this is all adding up to a potential for a bad problem. So any one of those things by themselves is not a big deal at all. But as you start to see red flags, and you'll get this feeling in your gut, I've learned how to start listening to that. There's some scientific stuff to back that up. I'm not going to go into detail on all that physiology.
Always do. Always.
If your gut says, not today, what can you do to avoid that situation? Right? What can we do?
I would say, hey y'all, what's going on?
Now, what am I doing with you guys the whole way through this entire class? How am I treating you? I'm making eye contact, right? Now, for you as people that may not be here to assault me and take all my guns and whatever else, what is this telling you that you're your average person? What is it telling you what me looking you in the eye?
Probably not a threat.
You're worthy of dignity and respect. Right? I'm going to give you some respect. You're going to give me some respect. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully you see joy behind my eyes because I'm passionate about what I do. Now, if you're a predator and you're looking at me and you're like waiting for your opportunity to assault me and take my stuff, me looking you in the eye, what does it tell you about me?
Probably not gonna go for it.
I see you.
I see you.
And if that predator knows that they're lost their element of surprise, now what?
They gotta reload.
Oftentimes, they're going to come up with another plan to see how this is working. Happened to a guy, a buddy of mine was in Five Guys. He's carrying his gun. He's sitting in one of the booths, and he watched this guy walk in, going to get in line, and the guy's like, what do I say about people looking around? The guy's looking around, he gets up there, he gets up near the cash register, and he looks one more time back around, and he sees my buddy sitting in the corner. My buddy said, I just grinned at him.
Yeah.
I grinned at him, I'm like, he said, shake his head, and the guy was like,
Nope.
fair enough, and he walked on out. Well, probably just got avoided. Probably robbery, right?
Yeah.
You walk up to an ATM machine, you see that little mirror thing that's usually up there? It's all scratched up. Is that a good ATM to be going to?
Negative.
Probably not.
Very
Let's say it's not, but you see somebody kind of hanging out, milling around, looking around, rubbing their hands together. Maybe grooming their face a little bit, like looking around. All of these are pre-attack indicators. You learn how to look for them, you'll start to see that kind of thing happen. What can you do instead of getting your money?
Goes on.
Hit cancel, grab your car. I'm broke anyway, man. It's not going to give me nothing. Go ahead. If that guy goes, nah, I'm good, and walks off, what did you just avoid? So you see how this is all working. So you're walking down the street, you see those guys, you could just say, hey guys, what's up? Pardon me, and you walk on through. Not a big deal. So if your gut's not telling you run away, you didn't see a bunch of red flags, you're probably gonna be fine. But you're seeing the red flags, your gut's starting to say something, what can you do instead? Do you have to like run away? Do you have to say, stop, I'm a concealed carry permit holder? Can you just like walk across the street? Now if you see them, you make eye contact and you're like, nope, and you do this, probably not the right answer either, right? Can you pat your pocket? I forgot the thing. Let me go back and get my whatever. During COVID, it was easy because what do you say? Mask. And you go back and you get your mask. You see how this is working, but you're kind of camouflaging that fear. Because predators can feel fear and they respond to that. All right. Human beings are born predatory anyway. Some of us have developed that, and some of us have suppressed it. And we just need to understand how that's working. So as we communicate with people, it's not always verbal. Alright, so the idea here, and I'm glad you brought it up, you said watch these. The idea is watch the hands, watch the waist, and watch the face. Hands are the most dangerous thing, because you need to see what's in them. I see a brightly colored cell phone. Nothing in your hands, nothing in your hands, right? Watch the waist. Where's your gun? It's on your waist. That's where knives come from, that's where guns come from, that's where maces, the maces like the blackjacks come from, all that stuff. Hands, waist, and face. That's a good place to be. What's the face tell you?
What's that?
Oftentimes intent. Tucking the chin, looking at the top of the eye, it's a natural instinct to protect the eye. I call it a reset button. You put somebody just right in the reset button, boop, and they go on down. to watch people's behavior. So, not a self-defense class in itself, it's an introduction to a lot of that. So, if you're interested in learning more, come back out and see us when we talk about whatever you need to talk about. We like to tailor the training for small groups to specifically tailor it to what you need, as opposed to diving deep into something you might already be very, very good at, and you need something else. Does that make sense to everybody? Come out and see us for training on the guns itself. We'll be able to get you from where you are and move you up on what you need to do. All right, 2 concepts and then we'll take a break. First one is keeping your tools on you. If you think about it, as a concealed carry permit holder was probably an important tool to keep on you.
Cell phone.
Cell phone? I'll buy that.
Your permit
Most
itself.
people have cell phones, right? What makes you as a carry permit holder a little bit different?
Probably.
Probably your gun.
Mhm.
So if you have the legal ability to arm yourself and you choose not to arm yourself that day, you're running the risk that if today is the day that that bad guy's gonna do the bad thing and you don't have your gun, how you gonna feel about that? For me as a parent, right? If I don't arm myself and I'm out in public with my children and one of my children gets hurt because I chose not to carry that day, I was being lazy, I was being tired, or I was going someplace I didn't really want people to know that I had a gun, something along those lines, and they got hurt, how would I feel as a parent? Those are the decisions we have to make as a concealed carry permit holder. If you got the legal ability to arm yourself and you choose not to, I'm not saying anything bad's gonna happen, but if it did, would you be okay with that? So those are the questions we gotta ask and answer for ourselves. And my wife gives me a little bit of a hard time every now and then. I'll come in the door, man, it smells good, you know, I'll wash up or whatever, I come back and give her a hug before dinner. She's like, really? At the dinner table? Like, you need your gun at the dinner table?
Well, that's why I take it off.
The short answer is probably not. I'll probably go the rest of my life and never get anybody kicking in my door and trying to take over my house at dinner time. But if something were to happen, what would I have to do if I had disarmed myself and put it in my safe? I'd have to leave my family with their attacker, go down, get my gun, and then come back. Or I'd have to fight somebody, God bless you, your size, with no gun. And I'm not about
Gun
that.
safe's in the basement.
Yeah. One of them's in the basement.
Oh.
The other ones might be somewhere else. Alright, so keeping your gun on you is probably a good thing. Now, what else do we see up there? What else would we want to keep on our bodies?
Your permit.
Probably your permit. If you're carrying a gun in public, what else you want to have? Probably maybe your wallet. You keep your ID. You keep your permit in your wallet. That's probably a good thing. Can you have a wallet on your phone?
Yes.
And you mentioned the phone a minute ago, right? Is a phone a good idea to keep on your body? Absolutely. All right. We'll keep with wallet for a second. We'll come back to the phone. All right. What else in your wallet besides your permit and your ID might you want to carry?
My self-defense lawyers.
Your lawyer's
information.
card.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you got one of those self-defense insurance companies, you probably should keep one of those cards in here as well. Maybe put it on speed dial on your phone would be a good idea as well. What else can we keep in that wallet? Why do we keep it? Who does this?
They don't.
Nobody carries cash anymore. You got Cash App, you got Venmo, you got all that stuff.
I carry cash.
What's that?
I carry cash.
You carry a little bit of cash. Why is it a good idea to do that?
Oh, everybody get taxed.
What's that?
All that Venmo.
All that other stuff get taxed is better? Okay, I'll buy that. Alright, think about it this way. What if your card's not working? What if that reader is not working and you need gas? So taking violence out of it, just being able to get home is a good thing.
That happened in my area when COVID first.
They weren't taking things, stuff was
They weren't
weird.
taking no cards. It was
Absolutely,
only
we want cash, yes.
Only cash.
So if you got a little bit of cash on you, it can get you where you need it and do the things you need to do. Now, in addition to that, let's put violence a little bit back into that equation. If your attacker is trying to rob you and they want something from you, a buddy of mine right up here in Waldorf near Carrington, guy pulled up on his little BMX bike and was like, hey man, let me hold $1. And my buddy's like, I don't got $1, man, I'm just getting my he's trying to move. I'm getting my real estate signs, whatever. He's like, I don't think you hear me, let me hold $1.
Yeah,
It might not pay to be my buddy. I had another friend of mine he was up offloading his truck onto a loaded dock and a guy walked up with a cardboard box. And he's like, hey, I got a catalytic converter for sale. It's $50. And my buddy's offloading his truck. He's like, I don't need that, man. I'm not interested. Thanks, but no thanks. He kept doing what he was doing. The guy was like, I don't think you heard me. I got a catalytic converter for sale. It's $50. And my buddy patted his pockets. He's like, man, I don't got 50. I got 20 though. Big bright smile came on the guy's face. He's like, it's your lucky day. It just went on sale. $20. Have pleasure doing business with you. Have a blessed day. And the guy walked off. And my buddy's a permit holder. He had his gun on him. What did he just avoid?
Confrontation.
He avoided that fight, right? He gave that attacker something, because oftentimes our attackers just want something. If you have nothing to give them, they might take something anyway. And it did happen up here at Westlake. I don't know if you remember the story about the young lady that got robbed in Westlake, 7-Eleven. Guy came in to rob the store. She gave him what was in the till. It was only like $20. He's like, hope it was worth it. And that was the wrong answer. Because she complied with everything he told her to do, but she still got shot and killed anyway. If there's a gun or a knife involved in your attack, don't ever expect that they won't use it. Or it's just there as a prop, or it's just there for intimidation. And sometimes all they want is something. You give them a little bit of cash, and they're on their way. You just avoided that fight. Does that make sense? That's the thing to think about. So keeping a little bit of money in your wallet with your ID and your carry permit's a good thing. You mentioned the cell phone. What's good about cell phones? Can we hit that button 5 times and hit the SOS and have 911 called? That's good. What's better than 911? Sometimes. Because your recollection of that violent encounter might not be anything close to what actually happened. Are you even a reliable witness after you've gone through that stressful encounter? See, we talked about that yesterday a little bit, right? So picture's worth 1,000 words. What's worth even more than that?
Video.
You hit video. Now you got audio recording, you got video recording. Is that objective or subjective in court?
Perfect in court.
Because your recollection of what happened may or may not be 100% accurate, but that video, that audio recording, even if it's a video playing in your pocket, it's recording the audio, if they can hear what's being said, that's better than you're remembering what happened or lack thereof. So cell phones are absolutely vital to be carrying around nowadays, especially with the violence that's going on. All right, sometimes it just pays to be a good witness. All right, we talked yesterday about being a third party, getting into or involved in some violence. May not be worth it. You might want to be a better witness. Everybody following on that one? What else we see? Stab. Is it a good idea when you walk to your car in the parking lot to have it between your fingers?
No.
Sure. Right? You might be able to defend yourself with it, that kind of thing. But let's take violence out of it. What can I really do with these? If there's a problem and I have my keys in my pocket, what can I do?
Press the
You
panic
talking about
button.
panic button?
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody paying attention? Panic buttons, car alarm going off.
Uh,
We hear them all the time, right?
Yeah.
If I got my keys in my pocket, can I leave?
Yeah, you can leave.
If I can avoid that fight altogether, is that even better?
Yeah.
Let's further remove ourselves from violence. Let's just say you're in your backyard and, I don't know, somebody's cutting the grass and something flies out and hits your kid. He's bleeding, falls out of a tree house, I don't know, something happens. What can I do right now? I can get him in the car and get him to the doctor, I can get him to the hospital. If I gotta spend 5 minutes, you see my keys, where are my keys? I need my keys, we gotta leave. You see where this is an issue. So if something bad is coming and you can't find your keys, you can't find your cell phone, it's not on your body, that could end up being a problem for you. See where I'm going on that one? So it's one of those things, I'm not telling you keep all your stuff on you all the time. What I am saying is make it make sense for your life and your lifestyle. If you got a particular place you put your keys, but you're on the complete opposite end of your property, how long will it take you to get there, get to your vehicle, get out? All of these things matter. Just like we talked yesterday about balancing our access to our gun with the security of it. So big refrigerated gun size safe is great for all the guns you don't use for defense. The gun you use for self-defense probably should be on your body or somewhere where you have very, very rapid access to it. But safe from somebody, your friend or neighbor coming up and having an accident. Does that kind of make sense to everybody so far? All right, my everyday carry looks a little bit more substantial than the average based on my life and lifestyle. So I'm not saying, oh, look at me, this is what I carry. But you notice that my lifestyle is different, right? So I might have a bigger gun than what we saw on the previous slide. My guns tend to have a light on them. I want to guarantee, even in the dark, that what I think is in your hands is in fact in your hands. In addition to that, if I have dark sights and there's dark clothing or a dark target that I need to hit, when that light comes on, it silhouettes those sights and I can actually aim a lot better. How important is hitting your target in a violent encounter? It's absolutely vital, right? So the Trijicon on my sights might not be working. I do carry night sights, but you're getting the idea. White light's a whole lot better than looking for little 3 glowing dots. Making sense? So if I can pull out the gun, see what I'm aiming at, then I'm doing a whole lot better. Everybody following? So gun's a little bigger. I got a light that's attached to it. My magazine's a little bit bigger. What else do we see that's different?
Your knife is on, no, wait.
Knife down there. It's a little bit bigger,
That's
right?
not a wallet, though.
All right. So I got a wallet underneath the knife.
Oh,
I got
it is
business
a
cards.
wallet.
I even carry a little notepad with my creds. I do what I need to because I got bad memory to begin with, right? So if I got a notepad or business cards that have a flat or a matte side that's clear where I can actually write on it, that'd be good. Right. Holster's a little bit bigger than the other, like, it might just be a very little holster. I carry some stuff for actual fighting because based on what I do, I'm more likely to get assaulted and have all this equipment taken from me. Does that make sense? Alright, what about this guy? What can I do with one of those?
You can write on anything.
You can write on anything with these guys. What do I do with these on a regular basis? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. You pass. All right, high five, sign here. So for me as an instructor, yeah, I'm grading targets with this stuff, but I can write on just about anything. So like you said, if I'm writing on something, can I leave a note for somebody?
Yeah.
Leaving the vehicle here, heading north to the gas station, wherever the case is.
Got a medic bag?
Maybe. All right, so that's kind of where we're going on that one.
Got a medic bag?
We'll talk about lights first, and then we'll hit that one last, right? So I carry a light in my pocket. Now the one up there on the screen is kind of like a pen-sized light, but it's got an aluminum frame. Both of that Sharpie and that pen light, because they're hard materials, can I use those in a pinch? I'm not saying it's good, but use them as a pinch, as a tourniquet windlass. Tighten that down. More than likely, what am I using this light for? It's midnight. My son forgot to take out the trash, and I'm like, oh great. So I'm going down my sidewalk. I almost step on a slug.
Yeah, you
Right,
don't wanna
that'd be
use the
great.
lights on your gun to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
bring out your gun and be like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Hey, traffic. Hey, come on by. Come on, go on. That's probably the wrong answer. So having a handheld light, nothing replaces that. If I'm walking up on my trash can I flash it over there? What am I looking for on it every day? Am I looking for people that are gonna mug me and stab me with a knife or stuff?
Animals.
Looking for animals, looking for little critters, little raccoons, little dogs, whatever. And then that way I know as I walk up on there, I'm not gonna startle anything. They're not gonna startle me. And I put my trash away and go back in. Alright, but in a situation where I might have to defend myself, what can I do with this light? Potentially, it's hard as metal, right? I don't get the plastic kind. Can I use this as an impact tool? Sure. What else can I do with it? Can I shine it in their face? Now you see on that wall, even in the daylight, this guy's pretty bright. You do want something that's got a significant amount of what's called candela, not a night fighting class, so we won't go deep into it. But good lumens, somewhere 500 or greater. Candela, you're looking at around 25,000 candela. Like how many candles? 25,000, that's a light, a lot of bright. But it's concentrated, so I can see at a distance. Alright, the stuff that just spreads real wide, but you can't see far, it doesn't gonna help you out a whole lot. So if I can flash that light in somebody's eyes at dark, what's gonna be left there in their eyes? That little yellow dot. So if I flash somebody in their eyes and I take a little side step and I move over here, where do they think I am? Alright, so if they try to attack or they try and pull a gun or whatever, they're shooting at where they thought the light is. Everybody following? Alright, so all of these things are good things. Now, anything that I have that I carry on my body's got multiple uses. I don't wanna waste time and waste weight and all that fun stuff. My pockets are usually pretty full. Alright, now you mentioned that med kit over the top right-hand corner.
Is that
Now,
what that is?
that's what that is.
With
So
my
you're like,
eyes-
what is that, right?
With my eyes, I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at.
Alright, so as we think about that, why do I want a med kit? Am I telling you, you gotta carry a med kit on you?
No, but
No.
like you said, if somebody,
Yeah, my med kit. Everything you see on that picture is on my body.
I don't see it.
And that's the idea. Do you need to look like a crazy gun nut?
Yeah.
Right? Aside from this holster, if I'm just walking down the street, it might just look like a guy that does whatever. Alright, so on my right ankle, I have a tourniquet. Wow, that really worked out well. I have a tourniquet on my right ankle. It's set up like this, so I can grab it, and it's already set up to do what I need to. On my left ankle, I got a kit a lot like this. It's got chest seals, wound packing material, pressure dressing, and some trauma shears, which also have a glass breaker on. So, I'm not saying wear this stuff every day like I do. I have a different job than you do. But should you at a minimum keep something like this in your vehicle?
For sure,
Should you have this stuff in your classroom?
for sure.
Absolutely. And you should learn how to use it effectively, because if you can't use it effectively, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. And if it's at home and you're at your class, or you're at your job, or you're at Walmart, something bad happens. So I'm not saying be paranoid, and something bad is always gonna happen and you better be prepared. I'm not one of those crazy people, but based on your life and lifestyle, would some of this stuff be beneficial to you to have in your vehicle? Or have accessible? Does that make sense to everybody?
Absolutely.
Alright, good deal. One more concept for you and then we'll take a break. This is called Wait Your Turn. We're gonna watch a little video and then we're gonna see where we are after that. So it'll illustrate the point fairly well. Here we go. At the gun is exactly where I want the gun to be, or where I expect it to be. If I find something that's a little bit off and I end up hunting for the gun, or it's not quite in the hand the way I need it to be, when I present the pistol to the target, the sights are not gonna be where I expect them to be. Is that making sense to everybody? So if I can put a gun that my grip is gonna be exactly where I need it to be, and I draw the gun, when I present that pistol, the sights show up exactly where I'm looking because I practiced that so many times. Does that make sense to everybody? But if it's not designed and it shifts a little bit and it's not quite where you need it, then that won't help you a whole lot. Same thing goes with shifting in one direction or another. You really wanna keep that holster in a particular spot, and you can find a spot on your body, hip bone, center line of your trousers, something along those lines, in order to keep it at that spot. So when you reach for your gun, it's where you expect it to be, and you get a good solid grip coming out of the holster. And you see down here at the bottom, allowing for a full firing grip. If you can get a grip on that gun exactly the way that you're supposed to be shooting it, even if it's one hand, you're gonna be a whole lot better off than if you have to adjust your grip on the way out. We don't wanna fumble for anything on the way out to the target, because time legitimately is life. Everybody's good with that? All right. Next one, positively secured to the body. There's some holsters that are floating around out there, and I'm not saying they're bad holsters. Just keep in mind there is a chance that it could fail you at the worst possible time. So some of the stuff that you just put in your pocket, and it's designed of a material that's kind of sticky or gritty, not like tacky, like adhesive, but the fabric on this and the fabric on your clothing are designed to catch on each other, so the gun comes out and not the holster. But I have seen some videos where somebody reaches in their pocket to pull out one of these guns in a holster like this, and now he can do the job, and you don't want to be finding yourself in that position. Does that make sense? All right, good deal. All right, it's positively secured to the body, either with some kind of clip or with some loops or something along those lines, so you can actually, no kidding, this holster is gonna stay where it is, and the gun is gonna be the only thing coming out. Everybody's good there? All right, it's positively secured to the body. It should cover the trigger completely. We do not want some little kid running up and giving you a hug and her fingers are pushing through your clothing onto a trigger. You can imagine where that would be a very, very, very scary day. Everybody's good with that one? So as you fumble, as you fight, as you, I don't know, slide around in your car, moving, doing the things that you do, you don't want any kind of unintentional trigger press. Everybody's good with that one, right? So you kind of understand where we're coming from with these things. So typically we'll see this kind of stuff. I'd say in addition to these recommendations, the material that you buy, and we've all seen of leather holsters, we've all seen Kydex holsters before, not all of those materials are created equally. There's good leather and there's not so good leather. There's high-end stuff, there's low-end stuff. If you think about it, I'd rather you spend $50, $60 one time than $20 5 times. Because over the course of you carrying a gun, you're gonna end up buying several holsters. I'd rather pay once, cry once, as opposed to having to buy something over and over and over again. So I use this little guy as an example. It just comes in and out, and there's nothing really wrong with, I'll throw air quotes on it, tactical nylon. All right, but there's nothing wrong with nylon holsters. However, this one's not made very well. You can see the problem with it, right? So as we look at it, coming in and out of the bin over there, I don't even use it for guns. I just use it to show people. And it's already starting to fray. And if your life is going to depend on this type of thing, this piece of equipment, your life's on the line when you use it, you may want to invest an appropriate amount of money. Did everybody follow on that one? So it's not unheard of for holsters to cost multiple hundreds of dollars. You got to make it fit your lifestyle, and your budget. All right, so 50, 60, 70 bucks is not unreasonable on the lower end of something that I trust with my life. Jason and I tend to spend anywhere from $120 to $250 on holsters based on what we have and what we've got going on for the business. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. All right, good deal. All right, so let's do some pros and cons here. So we get these leather holsters. There's some good things about a leather holster. You're wearing one. What do you got?
Durability?
Durability, all right? If what? If you take care of it.
If you take
right?
care of it.
So if you take care of your gear will take care of you. Leather holsters tend to be very, very durable. Just keep in mind, not all leather is created equal. So the quality of the holster is going to matter. All right, is it comfortable?
Yes.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, the longer you carry that same gun and the same holster on your same body in that same spot, the more likely that this thing is going to form to your body and form to the gun, and it'll become very, very, very comfortable. So that's a very good thing about leather holsters. If what?
If
we take care of it, right? So the downside of leather is I do have to maintain these things, right? How many kids do I got? I I got 5 kids, right? So I don't have time to maintain the leather like I really should, so I end up moving more to Kydex nowadays. In addition to that, there's some downsides to leather holsters that your sweat, the oils from your body, the salt from your body, and all that stuff gets into it. Just keep in mind, saddle soap's a thing, all right? You just gotta be able to take care of it. So leather holsters are good things, they're good tools. However, the downside is there's a higher amount of maintenance that goes along with them. Good there? All right, make sure that you can draw the gun and return the gun one-handed if at all possible. Same thing goes with these snaps. We gotta maintain the snaps, we gotta make sure that there's no rust. They work every single time. Because when your life's on the line, you don't wanna find out that your snap is sticking. Good with that? All right, so leather holsters, good tools. Kydex is where a lot of people end up going. What's some good things about Kydex? We'll start with the bad thing about leather, right? What's the downside of leather?
Right, you don't have to take care of it.
There's a whole lot less maintenance on a Kydex holster, right? So I got a bunch of kids, I got baby wipes all over the place, right? Zip, zap, zoop, and I'm done. Maybe a drop of oil on any of the metal parts, but that's really it. So that's a good thing about a Kydex holster. It's also designed to keep its shape, right? So as I draw out or put back the gun, it's gonna be there and I'll be able to slide the gun in and I don't have to fumble for putting the gun away, all right? Most people are like, well, you should never race back to the holster anyway. And people that talk like that tend to only have one idea in their brain. Like, I'm in this gunfight and I wanna be sure everything's over before I put the gun away. That's a good mindset. But what happens if you do your job and somebody's hurt that you need to help right now? Or you need to help yourself right now? Can I get that gun away? What if you're in an area that you might get shot by having your gun out for too long? All kinds of things are out there. Have the most amount of options is what I'm saying. So, good thing, easy maintenance. What's the downside of these guys? They are very hard, right? So if you get a holster that doesn't really help your body, it doesn't really help your gun a whole lot, you may have an uncomfortable day at least until you go, you know what, I'm gonna buy a different one. So you have to find a holster that works with your body and works with your gun very well. Now, some things I'd recommend is these little guys right here, any of the edges, they should be well buffed so they're not sharp. You think about wearing a gun with your clothing's gonna rub on this stuff, right? So if the edges are hard and sharp and jagged or whatever else, is it possible you could wear out your clothes a lot sooner than you're gonna need to? Yeah. With that pushing up against your body too, you want it to be smooth on your body. Notice a good round edge, nice and buff, nice and smooth. This is a pretty good holster. Everybody following on that one? All right, now, as you move around, is it possible you could pinch yourself in between the plastic and your skin? Sure, it does happen all the time. I'd say wearing a gun is not comfortable, it's comforting. And you think about it that way, what's it worth, right? You should be just a little bit uncomfortable as you wear your gun. Your belt should be nice and tight because the gun needs to be where you want it to be as opposed to where it just happens to be. Good with that one?
Yeah.
All right, so Kydex is another one of those materials. Not all Kydex is created equal either. And if you think about it, there's some very thin stuff, there's some very thick stuff. You want a good quality for a reasonable amount of price. Everybody's good with that? All right, so that's your Kydex holsters. All right, there are some holsters out there that are kind of a hybrid, where it's got a Kydex shell on the outside. Let's see if I can grab one. Kydex shell on the outside, and then some kind of flexible back or flexible material on the backside. Could be leather, could be plastic, could be rubber. This is like a hybrid rubber plastic kind of material. This actually has neoprene on the backside of it. Very, very comfortable holster to wear. Feels very, very nice. What's the downside to neoprene? Holds a lot of sweat. Now you're gonna sweat no matter what you're wearing, but this is gonna hold it in. It's designed to do this like wetsuit material. So as you keep that sweat and it dries and it gets wet again, it dries and it gets wet again, eventually what's the problem? You don't wanna be the stinky kid at work, right? So a little bit of soap, a little bit of water, maybe like one of those nail brushes or whatever, you just give it a little scrub, let it dry, and you're all set. You with that? All right, but there's lots and lots of holsters that are floating around out there. Every one of them has their own pros and cons. The goal for this is to help you make good choices for you when you go buy holsters. Eventually, as you carry concealed often, what are you gonna end up with? A big old bin full of holsters. Eventually, you're gonna be like, you know what? I wanna try that one. I wanna try this one. And you end up finding yourself buying a bunch of stuff. Now, as you get into kind of a community with other people that you know carry, you tend to trade holsters, especially if you got the same style guns. Trade holsters, try this, try that, and you get the idea of what you like and what you don't like. So it probably took me 4.5-ish years to kind of settle on, okay, here's the gun I'm gonna trust for the rest of my life, here's the kind of holsters I'm gonna be looking for, and every now and then I look for one just to see. All right, So that's what we got out there, alright? Now, what's the purpose of a holster?
Keep it in place.
To keep it in place. You and your holster should decide when that gun comes out. Should gravity get a say in the matter?
No.
So you decide when the gun comes out. It stays in place until you're the one that's saying, you know what, it's time. So I don't think we're gonna be doing, you're pretty young, right? You doing backflips in the club?
Nope.
Probably not, right?
I won't have that problem.
You won't have that
I
problem.
guarantee you.
Now, I'm not saying we're gonna do backflips at a wedding or a club or something along those lines where the gun's gonna fall out, but is it possible we can get in a wrestling match with our attacker? Now, if you think about it that way, as you're rolling around on the ground, is it possible your gun could come out of the holster, slide across a Walmart parking lot, and now you're like reaching for it like in the movies? Do we want that scenario to happen? No. Take violence out of it. Could you get out and it's coming up on winter? You get out of your car, slip on some ice, you fall down, and now the gun flops out. We don't want that either. That gun should stay in place until you decide it's time to come out. Gravity doesn't get a say. You with that one? All right. I know a guy that walked into a Walmart here locally, and his gun was in one of those elastic holsters, and as he's moving around doing the things he's doing, it just flopped out on the ground. Picked up the gun, put it back, and walked straight out of Walmart, because you know somebody's making phone calls at that point. So a gun gets to stay in the holster, you don't have to worry about it. Everybody's good there? All right, so there's different levels of retention. The way we described it, a level 0 means what? Zero retention. There's really nothing going on. It's just kind of a placeholder where you stick the gun wherever it goes, and it's there. If you did do a cartwheel or a backflip or you slipped and fell, is it possible it could come out? All right. In addition to that, the problem with this style holster right here, you see the little flap. How do I get this gun back in with one hand? Essentially, I have to push the gun into my body and then slide it down. Do I want to point the gun at my body if at all possible? Absolutely not. So if you think about it, not ideal. All right. Now I'm not saying you have to buy a holster that you can re-holster with one hand. Make it make sense for you, right? It's your life, it's your lifestyle, it's your gunfight. Your life is on the line, not necessarily mine. All right, so just making some recommendations for you. Now there's a bunch of different level 1 style holsters. We're gonna go ahead and clear out these guns just to make sure we're still safe and empty. Look at your bright smiling faces, and I'll check it twice, even a third time just to make sure. All right, so when this gun goes in the holster, you can listen for it. Clicked into place. There's a grommet on the inside, a little rubber grommet. I crank down on that screw and it tightens it up, so it's really pinching pretty hard on this trigger guard. Remember we talked about DC, firmly secure in the holster? It's this guy going anywhere. Now eventually I'm gonna embarrass myself, I'm gonna shake it, it's gonna fall out, right? Because not everything works forever, but you need to make sure that you're taking care and making maintenance and all your stuff. Everybody's good there? All right, so what's keeping this guy in the holster?
The garment.
The grommet, right? The friction around that trigger guard is pressing in on it, keeping it in place. What do I have to do to get the gun out? I just have to yank on the gun, right? So the goal for this one, because it's level 1, there's only one thing holding the gun in place. This one happens to be friction. All I have to do is yank on the gun. There's really next to no moving parts that can break, wear out, get in the way, malfunction, and things along those lines. So I tend to stick to this kind of holster for defensive purposes because I only got one thing that I need to do in order to get that gun out of the holster. Everybody's good with that? All right. Now, here's another style holster, similar, still level 1. Listen for it. Clicked in place. That gun ain't coming out, right? Now, there's a finger pedal on this. Now, there are some agencies and some ranges and some instructors that'll ban these holsters. Don't use them on my range, you're gonna shoot yourself. Pay attention to where my trigger finger is. When I grip the gun and I press on that little paddle, because that's how it comes out, press on the paddle, where's my finger? It's on the frame. So realistically, am I gonna shoot myself if I keep my finger on that frame?
No.
Where people have a problem is when they come out of the holster and they start finding the trigger while they're still pointing at something they're not willing to shoot. So if I level the slide, now can I find my trigger? Am I worried about getting shot with this thing? Not necessarily. Now, one thing I will point out is you see how that paddle's got that little gap just above it? You kind of see that right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was in a ditch in Iraq. I went to pull my pistol, and there's a little pebble guy right there. That could be a problem.
Can't get it out.
That would not come out. Glad I had a buddy there that day. Make sure everybody's good. Right now, most of you looking at me right now like, I'm probably not going to be in Iraq crawling in a ditch. But is there gravel in a parking lot?
Yeah.
You roll around in the parking lot, a little piece of gravel gets put in there. You're not getting your gun out. Right. So I don't carry this kind of thing for defensive purposes, range day, that kind of thing. Not a problem. Don't have an issue with it. However, if your life's on the line, I want to guarantee that my equipment is doing its job so I can do my job. You with that one? that's another one we want. Let's see, we wanna do a Glock 19, we're gonna confirm this guy is also safe and empty, check twice, right? 3 times if you're really good. All right, now, this is kind of the type of holster we're gonna use on the range. It's an automatic locking system holster. It's made by a company called Firearm. You're clicking into place. Much like the other one, not coming out. There's a little tiny lever right there. So all I have to do when I reach for that gun is grip the gun properly, and this will automatically unlock because my grip is defeating the retention in the holster. So you can see, I'm gonna break it one of these days. I'm gonna end up pulling this thing out of the holster, but I'm really gonna give it a good solid yank on that, and that's not coming out, right? But when I reach down for the gun, how easy does it come out? All I'm doing is pushing back on this little lever just a little bit. So when we get out on the range a little bit later today, you'll see these. Notice where my thumb goes on the lever? So as I grip my gun properly, it just comes right out of the holster. So that's also level 1. Everybody's good with that one? All right, I'm gonna leave this guy on the table, and I'm gonna grab one more. Eventually, I'm gonna buy some guns that they all fit in the same kind of holsters. Like a bunch of holsters for one gun. I'm not there yet. All right, this guy's another little different style. It's another level 1 holster. It's got this hood. The hood comes up over the top. Some people call it a bail. You have to push down on the lever, rotate that out of the way, and then you can grab your gun. Now, the way most cops screw this up is they grab the whole thing, they rotate it forward, then they grab their gun. Notice how that's multiple motions in order to get the gun out of the holster. That is not what we're looking for, all right? Now, you see that little triangle? See a little triangle piece right there? All right. All I have to do in order to use this a little bit more effectively is find that little triangle with my thumb. When I press the button, it rolls right out. Matter of fact, it pushes my hand up high into the back strap of the pistol so I can get a good grip. Notice that it's one fluid motion as opposed to roll it over, grab the gun, then pull the gun. That's not ideal.
I like that.
It's kind of a cool thing. We talked a little bit earlier about going to a convenience store or something along those lines and not being aware of what's going on around you. If you're gonna open carry, is it important to have some kind of retention on the gun? Absolutely. All right, now, I'm gonna show you this monstrosity. Automatic lock. We've got the hood. We've got a little screw in here for friction around the trigger guard. And we got this thing over here over the top, right? This little guy. This prevents somebody from coming from the front and trying to get your gun. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Some agencies will have where you got to twist the gun or rock it back or rock it forward as a level 5 holster. Am I expecting anybody to conceal carry this? Absolutely not. How fluid should I be able to get this gun out of the holster? So it should still be one fluid motion. As I touch that little triangle, it rotates out of the way. As I grip the gun, it just comes right back out. One fluid motion. So even with 4 or 5 different levels of retention, can I still get that gun out right now? If it takes you 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step to get the gun out and onto the target, that's not what we're looking for. It should be a one fluid motion. I want my brain to have one solution. I'm reaching for the gun, I feel the gun, and I go to work. Everybody's understanding how this is working? So I don't expect anybody to conceal carry this, but I do want to illustrate the point. Whatever your holster does, keeping it in or whatever in the holster, make sure one fluid motion gets it back out. Good with that? Any questions? All right, put this magazine back in. And let's do that guy up. All right. The easier it is to what? Grip. The harder it is to hide. So we as carry permit holders, we got to find that balance between concealment and the ability to draw the gun out of the holster really, really well. Any questions? So ride height and holster cant are 2 different things. We really got to take a good look. Now typically, and like I said, I carry Kydex holsters, but this will illustrate the point. I try to get to where I can get one finger, my middle finger, right inside there, and my belt line comes right here. Does that make sense to everybody? So as I go to grip the gun, I have a room for me to get underneath of that onto the front strap. If I can get that, I'm doing good things. This is still a level 1 holster. You see that snap right there? As I go to grip the gun, where's my thumb do? It breaks that thumb grip, and then I pull it straight out. Good with that one? All right. So go ahead and put that guy back in there. Okay, I think that's it on that one. Now, camming levers is something that'll help you hide the gun a little bit better. Let me grab this guy and this guy. Go ahead and verify that this is empty as well. Bright smiling faces one more time, and one more. All right. So this guy goes in the holster. You'll see this camming lever right here. Some companies call it a claw, some call it a wing, something like that. Belt will go through here, and then as you crank down on your belt and make it tighter, the heel of the gun right here pulls in towards my body. This is the hardest part to hide on a gun. Good with that? So the camming bar will help it pull in close to my body. Good with that? All right, now,
It's just a little uncomfortable.
it can be a little uncomfortable, depending on the type of belt you get. I just bought a, man, what was it? It was a Nex belt. It's got a big hard plastic thing. It's a gun belt. I had to break it in like you break the bill of your hat in around my hip bones, because that, man, that thing hurt. All right, but good stiff belt. Now, do you have to wear a belt when you carry? We'll talk about it. It's coming up. All right. Something else that'll help you hide these guys is something called a wedge. Now, you can make them on your own. You can get packing material, whatever. I used to take a little sticky Velcro, put one on one side, one on the other. I can adjust the height. I can adjust the cant. I can put it wherever I need to. Now, downside of these homemade ones is what? Eventually, as you wear it every day, what's going to happen to this material? It's going to get worn down. Now, there are some other ones floating around that companies make professionally. They got little bits of plastic or whatever to make it smooth on your clothing and everything. But eventually, as you can kind of see, they wear down as well. So eventually, these wedges will wear down, and you're going to have to replace them. So you have to take this off, scrape all the crap off, and then keep working with it. All right. Any questions on that? How they work is as your belt tightens up. If you take a look at it this way, there's your body, there's your holster. When the wedge is there, as you tighten in your belt, the top comes in. And then the camming bar does what? The two hardest places to hide get pulled against your body, and the underneath of your belt line gets pushed out a little bit. Most people aren't able to see any kind of thing going on down there for whatever reason anyway. The top is what we're trying to hide. Everybody's good there? If the holster's a little longer, you have more leverage to keep that top pulled in. So sometimes I'll buy the same kind of gun, same kind of trigger guard, but a longer holster to give me a little bit more leverage to pull the gun in on the top. Any questions on that? Good deal. All right. So there's one that has a wedge that's a part of the holster. This thing will not wear down, it will not break, it won't do anything. It's a part of the kydex of the holster. It's already built in. If you notice that it's nice and rounded on one end, so you don't have any hard edges pushing against your skin in that crease of your leg and your groin. Does that kind of make sense? That's designed to be worn up front in that little crease. And the holster will find its way right in that. As you move around, the holster will find its way there, and it tends to be fairly comfortable. All right, so there are some things out there where you don't have to replace that wedge every so often, because as those wedges wear down, eventually you're going to start printing. And as you print and the wrong people see it, you could get some unwanted attention, so we want to make sure we're maintaining our gear appropriately. All right, see those clips? How many do we see? See
Oh,
three?
two.
Two?
Wait, one, yeah.
I'm counting five.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so 1, 2, there's one just showing at the bottom of the belt there, that's right there in the middle, and then two on the right. The two on the left, two on the right, that one little one in the middle. Obviously the one in the middle is called a J-hook. Comes over your pants, under your belt, and that's the most concealable one out of that picture. And you see why that'd be beneficial. There are holsters out there that are considered tuckable, kind of like this guy right here. So the bottom goes obviously inside your trousers. These go over your belt, right? And then your shirt will end up tucking in here, over top of the gun. But what's still left exposed? This clip is it's still exposed, right? So if you see somebody passing the plate and they got a clip on one side or the other, what do you think's in between them? Now they do have clips like this for concealed knives and things along those lines. So if you just see one, could be a gun, could be a knife. If you see two, more than likely, what are we finding? Gun in the middle. Remember I said you're gonna start to see some stuff that you never thought you'd be looking for, and you can't unsee it. Eventually you start to see where the good guys, the bad guys are, who's carrying and who's not. Good deal? All right, here's another style. You see 3 clips at the top. What do we see at the bottom? What's that? And they see another one. This is called an ulti clip. It actually pinches on a cam.
I like those ones. I like.
These ones are really good, right?
Real
So it
straight.
pinches on a cam, kind of like a suspender clip. So those little J-hooks right here, they actually end up going onto your jeans or your trousers or your pants, and they clamp it down. And then that way, you can cover these guys up with your belt. Is that making sense to everybody? That's kind of the idea. And then your shirt can actually get tucked in. There we go. Inside that gap in between the clamp and everything else, right? So you can still tuck in your shirts, still hide, just like you see on the top picture. You can still hide, right? So if you gotta dress professionally, you gotta tuck in your shirt, you gotta go to a event where it would look unprofessional. If you're wearing something untucked, you've got some options. And those are things to think about. You see that little gap between the multi-clip and the holster itself allows for a little bit of clothing to go in there. All right, all kinds of stuff you can do with your holsters. This one's got some holes for air movement. Like I said earlier, any holster you wear, any gun you wear, you're gonna sweat in that area. So this one allows a little bit of venting, so your body is feeling less sweat. If your body's feeling less sweat, anything you get, you gotta pay for something else. What's feeling more sweat? Your gun. All right, so be aware of that and maintain your gear accordingly. All right. Speaking of which, we've got something along those lines. That's actually this holster right here, just in a different style. Anybody see my gun? Like you see this SIRT pistol right here, right? Now, obviously, if I'm asking you to not be armed and not have your ammo in your gun while you're here in the classroom, keep people feeling safe or whatever, if I'm asking you to be disarmed, what's my responsibility at that point?
You got to be.
I need to be able to protect people, right? So obviously, we're not gonna be doing show and tell, but the reasonable expectation is somebody's gonna be armed in the room, and then that way, if something bad happens, there's somebody to be able to defend. Does that make sense? So as I've been moving around the room, anybody see where I'm keeping mine? So obviously, somebody's got some law enforcement under his belt. Somebody's been in the class before, might know where I'm going, right? Have you seen it? So there's a Glock 19 right here and a magazine of 19 rounds.
But I wasn't trying to stay.
So it's like, well, it might be there, it might not. Now, as you go about your day-to-day business, how many people are like, what you got going on there? What's up? Most people will do what? You blinders. So first time you put on a gun, you start wearing it in public, what are you probably gonna feel like? Everybody can see it, what's that? You walk into a room, there's a cop over there, you're like, please don't arrest me, please don't arrest me, please don't arrest me. After a little while, you get a little bit more comfortable, you start to realize that nobody notices, nobody's even thinking about you. People think a whole lot less of you than you think they do. People care a whole lot less. So more than likely, just go about your business, do what you need to do. However, you should still be checking, all right? What gave it away for you? Just the print, right? So as I move around, my clothing is actually catching a little bit. Sometimes these clips slide down underneath my belt a little bit. So every now and then as I turn around, I'll just check my belt, but I know where my audience is, right? So if you need to adjust yourself, you need to fix your holster, you need to slide it, go in the bathroom, shut yourself in the stall, take care of what you're taking care of, and then you don't have to worry about it that way. Good there? All right. Lots of options for you. Pocket carry, we talked about already. That guy on the right-hand side, is that recommended? Why? What's a major problem with that? It's got an exposed trigger. Now, will I ever look at somebody and say, don't you ever, you're an idiot? I'll never say that. Why? Because my lifestyle is what it is, but yours might be completely different, and that might be absolutely valid. However, I will point out that because it's a holster and you can fire from the holster, when you attach those things, as far as I'm aware, the ATF say that's a AOW or any other weapon. So you have to get a $200 tax stamp, wait however long the waiting period is, fingerprints and all that other stuff, in order to carry like that. Doesn't make sense. You can legally buy both of them, but when you put together, now it becomes a problem. Kind of like pistol braces right now. You buy a pistol brace, you can buy an AR pistol, but when you put them together, now it's a short barrel rifle, according to the ATF right now. So we want to be careful when it comes to that stuff. All right, shoulder holsters. What's the pros and cons? What we got? Well, that's a 1911. It's designed to do that, right? We talked about that one yesterday. Remember, there's 4 safeties that are built into that gun. Get better at putting this thing on. One of the downsides to this was like, man, what do I do with it? All that stuff. What's some good things about these shoulder holsters? I'm gonna use my,
You can put a jacket over top of it and conceal it.
there we go. So it could be concealable, but what do you have to wear?
You have to wear a
So
jacket.
it's pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Concealable, but with a covered garment.
Magazine storage.
Magazine stores, I got some extra magazines I can put here. Could I put another gun here? Well, if I got a holster for it, yeah, sure. These little guys will attach to your belt, keeping it nice and secure and in place. That's not too bad, but any pro is also a con, right? So if I gotta cover it up with some kind of jacket or something, you think St. Mary's County in August, it's gonna be pretty hot, right? I could wear a loose kind of bowling shirt, that might work, but there's pros and cons to it. What else? Anything good about this? Why would somebody want something like this to begin with?
Maybe people have
Quick draw.
Much more comfortable.
Quick draw.
You put something on your hip, you put something on your waist, you're driving down to South Carolina 4.5 hours later, like, man, that hurts. But if you're a driver and this is what you do for a living, you drive down the road, would this be perfect? As you're up in your big rig or you're driving whatever you drive for a living, it's not on your hip. You don't have to worry about fighting your seatbelt to get to your gun, things along those lines. All right, so very, very comfortable. What else you say? Quick draw? It could be. Typically crossbody stuff, because you're normally standing like this, or whatever, it's very fast to do this. Downside to cross draw is what? Somebody else is set up to take that gun, so if you end up in a wrestling match with somebody, it's there for somebody else to grab. Making sense? One other problem with that, I'm not gonna draw it out because it's a real gun, right? If I pull out the gun here, most people on the range, as they practice, what do they do?
Yep. Yep, scared.
Boom, right? And they just covered everybody in the room with their muzzle. They pointed their gun at everything they didn't intend to shoot. If you were to do that, the gun comes out of the holster here, it gets pointed at the ground, and then you rotate that way. So you see how this is all working. You got a little bit of extra training, somebody else can grab it. There's lots of downsides to this. The big plus is what? Comfort. See there? Notice my small frame with the gun pointed this direction. I can't put a jacket on and hide this guy. I'm gonna have to make that vertical, so I might need to get a different one to make this a little bit more vertical and more concealable. That make sense to everybody? Good deal. So what's right for you? I can't tell you. I'll just try and give you some pros and cons. Just make sure you get good quality holster from a reputable manufacturer with good quality materials. Those recommendations I gave you earlier must fit your gun and light, designed for it specifically. Should cover the trigger, should allow for a full firing grip. All of those things are kind of an important deal. What about ankle holsters? Pros, cons, what do we got?
You gotta bend down, grab.
There we go. Everybody starts with the downside. All these negative
Yeah, I
people.
feel like that's the backup space.
That might be a backup.
Yeah,
Now, am I telling you carry two guns?
No, but.
I'm not telling you carry two guns. However, would it be a good backup gun?
Yeah.
Sure. If you get in a wrestling match and your legs go up around your attacker, what's set up for you to grab?
Gun.
Your other gun's set up there. What's the downside of that?
Like I said, you gotta bend down to grab it.
Are these guys, are they moving to safety?
No.
Are they moving to help somebody? They gotta be what? Stationary to draw the gun. Now, most people that wear holsters like this, all of us kind of have an idea of what our violent encounter might look like. Guys that I talk to that wear ankle holsters all the time, that's their primary gun, they're like, okay, so when the back guy does the thing and I realize he's there, I'm gonna run over behind some cover and I'll get down and I'll go grab my ankle and I'll be able to come out.
Can't just bring your knee up.
You could. You think about,
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
able to like hop down the road and do what I do? That's probably not the right answer. So as you think about it, I gotta be stationary, I gotta know the bad guys ahead of time and all that fun stuff. Are you gonna have the time the day that it matters? So you should make yourself have the most amount of options for the opportunities that you have. Is everybody following? Alright, so ankle holsters, pros, does a lot of people walk around like looking at ankles? Like, what you got going on? What you got going on? A lot of people, it's easy to conceal there because if you wear something other than skinny jeans, you're probably gonna be able to hide it. Downside is you gotta get to it, and it's a lot easier for me to go down than it is to get back up. So I'm just throwing that out there. Alright, hidden in plain sight is an option. I wouldn't say it's probably my first option. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Now if I'm a, I don't know, I'm kinda quasi public speaker at this point. If I got my day planner with my notes and my whatever else, I could be talking, I'm here at my little lectern or something like that, and I set my, where'd my coffee go? If I got my gun in that thing, cause it does have a holster in it, so I just unzip that, you see the holster there, I can put a gun in it and do what I need to. However, if I set this little guy down, and I come over here to get my coffee, am I armed right now?
No.
If my gun's over there, and something bad happens now, what do I have to do? I gotta run over there to get to it. So if I'm running over there to get to it, what am I drawing attention to?
You yourself.
That's probably a
Hey,
problem.
somebody could easily take that.
Exactly. If they think I got something valuable in here and they snatch it, that's probably not gonna help me a whole lot. So hidden in plain sight's an option, just not always the greatest option. Now I hear fanny packs are coming back. You're saying, yep, I got a
I
couple.
have one, but
You know, Briscoe's got a
for
couple back
motorcycle.
there. What's that?
I have one, but it's for a motorcycle, so it's like a fanny pack.
It's like down here on your leg, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Now, it is an option, right? So we wanna address it. This one is one of the cheapest ones you can buy, just cause I don't carry them, I wasn't gonna invest a whole lot in it. It's got Velcro, and it's got a holster that Velcroed on the inside, that's where the gun goes. So, this is attached to your belt. When you grab onto it, it comes open, you grab the gun, you go to work. So not too terrible, right? But if you're in an area that people don't generally use fanny packs, does it make you look out of place? And they're like, what's going on with that guy? What's the deal? Now, what a lot of people are using, and it seems to be fairly popular, is a messenger bag. So I don't have a messenger bag, I haven't bought one yet, but you kind of understand, this is on your back, you're doing what you're doing. As you swing this forward, there should be a lanyard, something you can grasp with gross motor skills and rip that zipper down, go to work. Good there? A buddy of mine, what's his name? His name is Mr. Drake. He works for, or owns a company, Raider Tactical, and he travels all over the country teaching stuff. He's working with a couple of synagogues, and their security team with the little earwigs and whatever, they've got these bags, right? So when they sweep this way, they grab their gun, but in the back of this is what? Kevlar. So it's actually bulletproof, and it goes in front of their vitals, so as they protect whoever they're protecting, they've got a little bit of Kevlar they can swing towards it. So that's kind of a cool thing. Downside to something like this is what? You get in a wrestling match with your attacker, now this becomes a choke hazard, right? So for a lot of people, and I'd recommend if you're gonna do it, you do it on both sides, but this one's got what?
Oh, yeah.
So if it's got a fast X clip there where you can just pinch at it and let it go, you can let it go and you won't get dragged down. So what I've learned over the years and watching, especially watching a lot of CCTV, people that wear backpacks on both shoulders, your attacker can grab that backpack and do what? Can they do the same thing with one of these guys? They grab this strap and yank you to the ground, and now you are on the ground at their mercy. So we want to be aware that it is an option, but there's some downsides to it as well. Anything you decide, anything you pay for, anything you get, you're gonna pay for with something else. All right, what else we got up there? Purses. All right, this one my color or what? So I got my purse, and I'm walking down, I concealed carry, right? Let's say I'm left-handed, I got this lanyard right here, what can I yank on? It's got a special pocket just for the gun. My father-in-law gives my mother-in-law a little bit of a hard time. It's like, hey, where's your gun? She's like, oh, it's in my purse. Well, let me see it. She puts it on the table, and I start digging it. No, that's not it. It's in here somewhere. Then you see where if you get attacked, you don't have time to fiddle and fumble for that stuff. Whereas if you have it inside, but it's got a special little pocket, you can get to it right now. All right, now what's the downside of carrying a gun in a purse or a bag? If somebody wants your stuff, what are they taking? You're following on that one?
And it has to stay with you.
So now what did you just lose?
Everything.
Gun, wallet, cell phone, keys, all of that stuff is gone now and is running down the sidewalk.
As heavy as my wife's purse is.
You probably smack them with it, right? All right. Now, if you're anything like what my mother and sisters got taught growing up, there's these little rings right here. You put a long strap on and carry it cross-body. But now what does that cross-body strap become? It becomes a choke hazard, or it becomes a leash and they're gonna drag you to the ground, all of those types of things. One other question, and you're not carrying a bag, so I don't know if this is you, but when ladies are at the gas pump, do they take a giant bag out with them to the gas pump? Or they take a card or a wallet or something along those lines? If your gun is in your vehicle and you go to the gas pump, are you armed? Do people get robbed at the gas pump? It does absolutely happen, so we wanna be aware of that kind of stuff. Alright, there's some unconventional holsters floating around out there. You see all kinds of options, right? What do we think about the, I call it my real estate shirt. Underneath of the dress shirt, having a white undershirt might be a good thing. Notice where the holsters are. There's one here and one there. They're basically tucked up under your armpit. You have to cross draw with these because it's physically impossible to get any higher than that. Alright, so it's gotta be there. What are we relying on to keep the gun in the holster? Typically the elastic. Now this one in particular has some straps that come over and clasp over here. But if you look at them, they're kind of like your dress pants kind of clasps that go in the waistband. I have to pull down on this and then get up and under in order to get that. So if I was gonna wear this, you're gonna have to do a Superman. Yep. So you rip all the buttons off, grab your gun. Now I'd recommend maybe not having this style strap. Maybe get that thumb break style you saw in that leather holster. That might work a little bit better. There's all kinds of options out there. It's got to make sense for your life and lifestyle. What do we think about the spandex pants in the middle holster here? What do we think? Good things, bad things? Is it concealable?
It
It's
is.
concealable, but
What do you got to wear in order to get to it?
pants.
A skirt.
So if I'm wearing those shorts underneath of these pants, am I getting to that gun? So I got to wear what?
A skirt.
Skirt,
I got to wear a skirt, maybe a kilt.
kilt.
Right? I always joke around. I'm gonna wear a kilt one day so I can demonstrate how to get to that
It's
gun.
probably very uncomfortable.
It could be. Now, if you're a receptionist, you sit behind a desk all day, that kind of thing, probably not a big deal. you're probably gonna be okay. If you're a tour guide and you're like, we're walking, what's going on with your thighs?
Right.
If I'm in the best shape of my life, right, and I'm in the Marine Corps, I was an infantryman, packs, and we're hiking, we're going everywhere we're going. What do you think my thighs are doing, even in the best shape of my life?
Right.
They're rubbing. I'm gonna add a gun in the middle of that. So if that's my lifestyle, I'm active and I'm moving around a lot, probably not the right answer for me.
Plus it's awkward to get to, like.
Could be. Now the technique I'll show you a little bit later, how to draw from a holster like this, will work for that. And that's why I picked that particular technique to teach in this class. All right. Will that work if I put the holster on the outside?
Yeah.
It could. It'd be less problems with
That's
rubbing,
better.
right? What's the downside of putting it out here?
You got it right.
Part.
Imprint.
Print, right? So if I'm wearing a pencil skirt, that's probably not gonna work. I need something like a A-line. I'm learning stuff. I've been teaching this class a little while. Ladies are telling me, no, you need an A-line for that. You need a pencil skirt for this. So I'm learning some stuff. What about this guy on the right-hand side? Anybody ever hear of these guys?
Right.
Yeah, on the right. What's that guy called? Anybody know?
Oh,
Baldwin. Yeah, the holster on the right-hand side.
Chestnut?
Flashbang.
Flashbang. What in the world? Now you're thinking about it, that's what it looks like. It looks like flash, bang.
Yeah.
These companies try and come up with clever names, and some of them are funny, and some of them are like, what were you thinking? Come on. Now the way these guys work is the band that goes around your chest gets clipped on with this. So it could be hard. I've been told, I don't know, right? I've been told that these things are very, very comfortable. What we end up finding, is this guy. Check it twice, right? Alright. So sights, the rear sights go in first, and it clips in place. This thing goes in the strap that goes around your body. They come with several different sizes depending on what size your bra strap is. It doesn't look like that in the picture. Basically, the way that this ends up working, when you draw this gun, the shirt comes out and away from your body, your hand comes up to grab it, and you switch. About a 1.7 second draw time, which is not bad. I've been told they're comfortable, but I don't know anybody that carries one daily. There's some people on Instagram that I follow, I think it's called How I Carry, or Armed and Dangerous, or something along those lines. Anyway, they wear these on a fairly regular basis, and they swear by them. I've been told that they're good. What you got?
I met one female that worked when I was working over at Gun Monkeys that specifically came in
Looking
and
for it?
said, looking for a flashbang. Said it's probably the most comfortable holster she's ever worn.
So that's a good sign.
I won't tell you what tire shop she works at, but yeah.
All right. Here's some more stuff. You see this young lady on the left-hand side, she's wearing a sundress. I'm getting the names right, all right? Now the type of holster she's wearing there is called Thunderwear. You can't make this stuff up, right? But what are we relying on to keep the gun in the holster? Elastic. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Somebody that's wearing very little clothing, especially in the summertime when it's hot,
Belly band?
could still, no, on the right-hand side it's a belly band. On the left-hand side is basically boxer shorts with the extra elastic in it that you can put a gun in. But once again, pros and cons. You don't want to be that person walking through Walmart and your gun falls out of your holster. All right. Athletic band on the right-hand side. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there. This is the cheapest one I could find on Wish. This one I bought at Fred's. It's got 2 holsters built in, extra magazine pouches. This one literally is just elastic straps sewn in where they are. So if you buy the cheap kind, you put the gun in the holster, and then you turn the band where you want the gun to make it fit where you need it. All right, what are we relying on with these? Just the elastic. Now there are some higher end ones. This one's made by a company called Can Concealment. I believe they went out of business. Somebody just told me that. I don't know for a fact, but they got much better clasps. Inside their holsters, there's a little flap that you can actually pull away, so you don't have to push the gun into your body and slide it down. You can pull that out, drop the gun in, and then they also have a rare earth magnet that helps attach to the gun so it stays where it stays. It's also got some silicone to keep the band itself from moving around on their waist, and they do make models that guys tend to buy as opposed to ladies looking like they're fancy. Everybody good with that?
Almost like a chopped up brazier.
Absolutely. It almost looks like some
Looks
shapewear,
right.
right? It's got pockets for like passports and cash and whatever else. So there's a young lady that works in a pawn shop, and that's where I saw this the first time. Like, you know what, that's pretty cool. Let me get one of them. And she wears them all the time. So, and maybe an option. I'll tell you one other reason why a belly band or athletic band might be an option for you in a minute. Here's a young lady who works for a company called Dean Adams, D-E-N-E Adams. You see her walking across that little horse field or whatever. She looks like a real estate agent or somebody that might work at a bank. something along those lines. And her little spiel at the end, because purses are for lipstick. You don't want to leave your gun in your purse, in your car, or set it down somewhere, have somebody snatch it. Should be on your body. So there's those shorts that we talked about a little bit earlier. That's a SIG 380. And she's got a little switchblade she pulls out from the outside pocket. As she walked across the field, you probably didn't notice anything as she's coming across there, but she's got something on either side of that leg. This is a SIG P320. I believe that one's a compact size, but it says double stack gun, so it's actually pretty thick. Spare magazine. And this one's a Glock 26, also a double stack magazine, fairly thick, with a spare magazine.
We should come on the bond side.
So the idea behind this, and her little spiel at the end
Where the
is
hell
saying,
is she there?
if I can comfortably conceal and carry all of this stuff, how easy would it be for you to carry one thing?
Right.
And if you know about shapewear anyway, and you're gonna be wearing that stuff anyway, why not have a holster that's built into it, so you can carry your gun and stuff that doesn't look like you're going to the range.
That's true.
Alright, so there's lots of options out there for ladies that wanna dress professionally, but still wanna be able to be armed, as opposed to wearing a belt and jeans and boots and a t-shirt and that kind of thing. Alright, one other thing we'll talk about is every day means every day. If you're carrying your gun on you, especially in public, you went to Taco Bell, now you're running for the border, you might have to use a public restroom. If that's the case, where do we leave our guns? Do we leave them on one of the dispensers? How do we make sure that we don't leave our gun behind? Because if you do, the best case scenario is you go back and it's still there. Second best is what? The cops knock on your door or call you and say, hey, you missing something? Yeah, I thought because you have 72 hours to report that stuff. Worst case scenario, they knock on your door and say, hey, where were you on the night of? You don't want to have your gun end up in the hands of a criminal and getting used in a crime, right? So where do we put these things?
If you gotta do a number two, just you put it in between your legs.
There we go.
Or you put it
So
in-
trousers come down to about your knees. There's a lot of cloth there. You can drop your holster in your gun right there. If you jump up real quick, you're probably not gonna run out of there with that gun like that. You're probably gonna put it back on. If you set it on the dispenser, it's a good possibility you could leave it behind. We don't wanna do that. Just please keep in mind. Actually, let's back that up. So either between your knees, right, with your trousers about the knee level, or like those belly bands, if it's on underneath your clothing when you drop your trousers to use the facilities, the gun is still exactly where it was when you started.
Mhm.
So good thing about belly bands and athletic bands is they're there, they stay there, you don't have to worry about it. Downside is you're relying on elastic to keep that gun in place. Now just keep in mind here in America, the stalls don't go all the way to the ground. So please don't raise your hands, but if you're one of those people that takes your trousers all the way to your ankles and you got your gun there and somebody walks by and they see it, what could happen?
You try to install.
They might reach under and grab it, or they call the cops on it because there's a guy in Walmart with a gun. We don't want to be those people. Everybody following so far? All right. We talked about strong side draw. We talked about cross draw. We talked about where to carry. There's some pros and cons to every decision, right? So we're talking about 3 o'clock, right? Here on the hip, right? This.
Right there.
Right there.
It's a natural movement for you to do this, right? That's where cops and law enforcement and military guys, that's typically where they'll carry right there at 3 o'clock. What's the downside of carrying it here? If your body looks like this, and then all of a sudden on one side it does this, it's gonna bring some attention to you, and you might not want that attention. Now, if you slide this back, just past that line of your body, as you interact with people, is it noticeable? Typically not. Even if you're carrying open, a lot of people don't notice you're carrying a gun until you point it out. It's kind of an odd thing. What's the downside of carrying right here?
You gotta reach further.
I gotta reach further to go get to it. Physics tells us the further you move, the further you gotta move back. It's gonna take a longer amount of time. You gotta weigh the pros and cons. All right. Typically, the way I'll teach you guys here is either at 3 o'clock for beginners, or right about there, 4:30, 5 o'clock for beginners. Right. That's a good place to start. It's a natural place, and if everybody in the class is all in the same spot, and I see all the same movements with hands, I know everybody's being safe and everybody's doing the things that they're supposed to. If we start seeing weird things or different things, then I can key in on that and make sure everybody stays safe. Everybody's good with that one? All right, that's an idea. What else? What about further back? What about all the way back at 6 o'clock? Any good things about that?
I mean, it's directly behind you.
Directly behind you, people, as you talk to them, are definitely not gonna see it. What else is good? Something you may not have thought about. is can I reach that gun with either hand? Are we ever guaranteed we're gonna have the hand we train with the most in that day?
No.
We don't know. So having it 6, you can reach with both hands. Downside of that, especially for somebody my size, is if you come up to me and you push me and I fall down on the ground, if it's on my spine,
That could be a bad day.
I might get an injury and I don't want that. Alright, so that's an option as well. Alright, what about up front where I carry? What's the good things, what's some bad things about this?
Index. Easy to grab.
Easy to grab for who?
You and
For me.
With
Now, somebody else, if you wanna reach for my gun, am I gonna know about it right now and I can kind of defend it? So I can defend this gun, it's easier for me to grab. My hands typically, as I'm interacting with people, are gonna be in front of me anyway, so I can just reach for it and do the job that I need to.
Easy to conceal as well.
Potentially easier to conceal, so you didn't see it at all. You knew it was there because you took the class before, and you're in law enforcement, so you're looking for that stuff. Alright, but on the average, even though I got my shirt tucked in, it's still fairly hard to see. What happens if I untuck my shirt? It become easier to hide?
Yeah.
If I wear that little bowling jacket thing, that become easier to hide? So is it concealable? Is it fast to get to? Absolutely, I can defend it. All of these things are pros, right? What's the downside of this?
Still gotta lift up and grab.
It's concealed, right? So I still have to remove the clothing. What else?
you don't wanna shoot your junk off.
There we go. Normally it's a guy that says that. Normally it's one of the guys, you probably make the company so you wouldn't have to say it, right? But normally that's the first thing out of people's mouths, like, you can shoot your junk. Is that true?
Yeah.
It is a possibility. You can shoot yourself no matter where your holster is, right? So if it's over here on 3 o'clock and I'm standing like this, where's the gun pointed?
Right, you can't.
At my leg, right? So I don't know if you noticed yesterday, the guy that reholstered, he put his feet together. Now where's it pointed? The overpressure can still damage your skin. You can still get injured, but it's a lot less likely that you'll have something serious. If my gun is back here and I'm standing like this, where's the gun pointed?
Right in the leg.
Right at my leg, right at my cheek, all the way down my thigh, all of that stuff, the hamstring's there. So would it hurt to step forward to put the gun back in? Now where's it pointed? Once again, overpressure's still gonna give you a bad day, but it's gonna be less injured if something happens that way. So up front, is it any different? The most dangerous time for anybody training with a holster is taking that gun and putting it back in. Anything gets caught between your trigger and the holster when you push it into the holster. So if you guys feel any pressure while you're on the range going back in the holster, you feel any pressure at all, stop, take a look, make sure there's nothing in the way before you push the gun into the holster. Everybody's good with that one. So you said I could shoot my junk off, and that might be true, but I got 5 kids. I'm not too worried about that. All right. What I am concerned with the most is what runs up either side of my leg.
Arteries.
That femoral or femoral artery. So I'm worried about that more than anything else because that's the quickest way to die. So as I'm going back into a holster at appendix carry, I can rotate my hips a little bit, kind of point them out of the way. But realistically, I just got to make sure that nothing goes between the trigger and the holster. If I do that, I'm doing good things. Any questions? Any lefties? All right, that's right. You're born in a right-handed world. This is one of the few instances where literally instead of 3 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock and everything else stays the same. So all the pros and cons, where you carry and all that stuff, is just the opposite number. But we know as a left-handed person, you're living in a right-handed world, and when instructors say, it's the same for you, it's just on the other side. Is that true? Not even close, right? So we'll talk about some tips and tricks for you on the range a little bit later. All right, here's how to draw from the holster. We'll do this one more slide. We'll give you an option to take a break, and then we got the application process, which goes fairly quick, about 5 minutes, and then we're done. Not qualification, the application process. So new applications since Bruin went into effect. Super simple now. We just run through what it looks like, and then we'll call that good. And then we'll break for lunch. We'll meet at the range. We'll shoot the qual course, and we'll head on out. All right. So I put a concealment garment, a covered garment. I put a jacket on, whatever you want to call it. This technique here, I like to use word pictures as opposed to numbers. Step 1, and then your brain's like, what was step 1 again? So I try to use word pictures. For those of you that think in numbers, I left them up there just in case. This is a technique that I use for our basic classes. Are there more than this? There's a ton more than this to get the gun out of the holster from concealment. However, this works for the most amount of people and the most amount of styles of clothing and that kind of thing. One thing I would ask is if you're going to have a closed garment, it's covered up, you're buttoned up, you're zipped up, things along those lines. This technique tends to not work very well for things that aren't stretchy. So if you're gonna carry like this, it might be important to find clothing. It gives a little bit of stretch. Does that make sense? Alright, so first step is rip and grip. So we're gonna rip that clothing up and out of the way, and at the same time, I'm gonna be trying to grip the gun. If your holster is smack up against your body and you can't get that thumb on the other side, you can reach up here and grab the sights with your thumb. Does that kind of make sense? But you wanna do it the same way every time. So first step is rip the clothing and grip the gun. Rip and grip. Second step, as you see up there, number 2, straight up. And if your gun has a safety on it, this is where we sweep the safety. So I'm coming straight up out of the holster just enough to clear it, and I'm just gonna drop my elbow, and where's that point the muzzle? Straight ahead, it's away from my body. Notice that's in front of most of my body here. Am I gonna shoot my support hand with this gun? No. Alright, so rip and grip, straight up and sweep the safety, and then I'm gonna establish my two-handed grip here. The earlier I can grab this gun and start my grip, the better off I'm gonna end up being. So I'm gonna grab it early, I'm gonna grab it firmly, and I wanna be consistent every single time. When I grip my gun, and if you guys see me on the range a little bit later, I got a pretty nasty callus right here from gripping the gun the same way every time. It hits that little trigger guard, same spot every time, and that's what I'm feeling for when I grab it in the holster. When I establish my second hand, this index finger is gonna touch that trigger guard in the same spot every single time. So when I push the gun out away from my body, I can establish my grip in the proper place and build pressure as I'm extending away from my body. Good there? Alright, so rip and grip, straight up with a two-handed grip, and I'm gonna punch forward like I'm throwing a jab, right? So my hand's gonna stay vertical. So I'm gonna punch towards the target. As I'm moving forward, I'm gonna prep the trigger depending on how far away the target is. And then as I continue to punch forward, I'm gonna look for my sights. When they actually get into my eye line, everything looks good, I just take the shot. Does that make sense? When I'm done shooting, what'd you see my finger do? Off the trigger. And then when I come back in, I'm gonna be looking around, does anybody else need any help? Is everything good? If everything is good, then I'm gonna get this clothing up and out of the way. Spend a little second here, making sure everything's out of the way of the trigger, and I'm gonna holster the gun appropriately. If I need to take a look, take a look. We wanna make sure that you're staying safe. Good there? Any questions on this? So it should be fairly simple, but it does take lots of repetitions to get good and competent with it. Does that make sense? We're just gonna rip, grip, straight, two-handed punch, prep, sight, shot. So that's a lot of words and a lot of stuff to think about. As you get better, we're gonna shave off some words. So it may end up being grip, slack, sights, or grip, slack, sights, or something along those lines. And that way, as you're doing what you do, your brain is able to process this thing, just puts it into the background. Everybody's good with that one? All right, 2 things we don't want to see you doing while you're out there is going fishing or going bowling. And you're like, what in the world is this guy talking about? If you think about it, when you grab your gun, a lot of people will point the gun up in the air and they'll bring it down onto the target like this. What is this doing for me? Absolutely nothing. It's getting in my way. I can't see my threat. I can't see my target. In addition to that window, I see my sights actually align on the target. Not until the very end. And if I see it and I'm pressing the trigger, I may continue to go. So you want to make sure that they're settled even if you're doing that. Right? But the goal is to see your sights early and guide them onto the target where you're looking. So by the time you're out at full extension, your finger is on the trigger, ready to go, and the shot just breaks. Questions on that? Don't go fishing. We also don't want to go bowling, coming out of the holster and going like this. And you get why we call it bowling? Do we understand why we call it fishing? It's like you're casting a fishing line. Is everybody following? All right, so don't be doing this on the range. While we're out there, we're going to stay at the ready. We're going to keep the guns pointed at paper. So pistols pointed at paper, not at people. Elbows will just come back to our ribcage, and we're just going to hang out right here. When it's time to shoot, we'll shoot. Fingers come off the trigger, we'll come back here. All right, if we do holster work, another story. All right, but generally we don't do holsters on day one for us. Come back and see us with your holster, your gun, we'll help you get good with it. Any questions?
Cool, cause I'm a fisher.
You go, yeah, I remember from the last 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Any questions on the draw? All right, last little bit, we'll cover the application, and that's really where we're gonna end up finding ourselves. So
Have you been photographing me?
No.
finger up high
No,
on
I've
the
been getting
slide,
them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
up on the other side. So we'll double check your
No, I mean, I just don't, I'm not happy with that. There's plenty of enough pictures of me. Every post office in the country's got my picture in it.
says wanted on the top, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Jason's gonna assist me here. We're gonna show you your stance. So that was your grip. Feet are about shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, and then you want to bend basically at the ankles, kind of like Michael Jackson did in Smooth Criminal. Y'all remember that? So you're leaning actually on your toes. So if we get our grip, we get our stance, and we're aiming in somewhere, and we push on you, and you end up like this, that's not ideal, if that makes sense. If I push on you, and I'm a little tiny person, and you're falling over, that's the wrong answer, all right? So if you set yourself up where you're not really bending real low, you're not really bending at the waist so much, you just engage your core and lean onto your toes a little bit like you're about to sprint down there and touch that tree. The gun and you should not really move anywhere. Everybody following on that one? Now we should have some tension in the hand. We want to pull in here on the pinky. We want to drive the web of the hand into the gun. That way as we check your grip, go ahead, you shouldn't flop. So we want to apply some tension so that that doesn't happen. It should just barely move. Good deal? And we're going to give you about 9mm pressure on your guns as opposed to the 22 you're going to be shooting today, just so you can kind of get a feel for how tight your grip should actually be. All right, now, for your support hand, remember we want that thumb to go way up high on the frame of the pistol. We want a little bit of the heel of your hand to touch the back strap, and we're actually going to clamp in right here with the other hand. You want to crush it. Imagine if there's like a little grape or something on your grip. You want to squeeze all the juice out of the grape onto the ground. So that's actually where we're crushing right there. So if we got you aimed in and we try to separate your wrist and they flop apart, you're not squeezing hard enough. You want that heel of the hand to be pushing in here. All right, so it should look a little bit more like this. We're going to try and separate your hands like this. If it slides off the side of the gun, you don't have enough side-to-side pressure here. Keep your elbows bent a little bit so you can actually use your body to crush side to side. So it should look a little bit more like this. Everybody's good with that? Any questions on your stance or your grip? Good deal. All right, I'm going to holster up. Jason and I are going to step behind you. We'll have you draw out your pistols. We'll check your grip and your stance. And then, John, if you're bothered with your sciatica, you're just hanging out today. All right, I'm going to step behind you. There's not a whole lot going on here, right? So basically that trigger bar is coming back to a little ramp in the back of the gun. When it touches that ramp, it gets tight. When it's there, that's when we're actually pointed at our target, right? We'll confirm our sights are where we want them. Now, really what I'm doing when I'm checking for trigger control is I'm gonna watch my front sight, and I'm just gonna build pressure on the trigger until the gun does its job. How did my front sight do? Didn't move a bit, right? So that's the idea, is that we don't care about when the gun goes bang or when we think it's gonna go click. We're just building pressure until something happens. The less you care about when that front sight does its thing, the better off it's gonna be. When we demand that the gun break or the gun shoot or we press the trigger or we get the click when we think it should go, we actually influence the gun. So if I look at my front sight here and I'm like, I want that sucker to go bang right now. Matter of fact, somebody tell me go or now or something.
Go.
Because when I'm jumping on it, it actually moves the gun. And we move the gun at a distance, then that shot's gonna be off. All right, so we wanna care less about that. Somebody can say go or now, and if I just don't care, it's just my starting point. Anybody, whenever.
Go.
Now it's dead still. All right, the goal is to not care about when the gun does its job. Let the tool do the work. If you've ever cut a piece of wood with a handsaw, and you force that handsaw to get into the wood, what happens? It binds up, it does all kinds of stuff, right? But if we allow the tool to do the work and let it cut the way it's designed to do, we get a good smooth cut, it's nice and easy, and we're not worn out. If we make the gun do the work, the gun's not going to respond very well. We got to let the gun do the work. Does that kind of make sense? So as you're practicing building pressure on your trigger, work on making that happen that way. Now for you guys, as you get your guns in your homes with your holsters and your gear, you want to figure out your trigger. Every trigger and every gun is a little bit different, and you want to make sure that it's doing the job that you want it to do. Everybody following on that one? But you have to learn how to feel the trigger and feel it the same way every time. If you're able to press the trigger the same way every time, you're going to become a lot more accurate. Consistency is the key to accuracy when it comes to shooting. Is everybody good with that one? All right, so let me jump behind you one more time. We'll draw out clear. Go ahead and draw out your pistols. Fingers off the trigger. Go ahead and draw out. Draw out the pistol. All right, this should go a little quicker for the second half. One shot at the X. Stand by.
One shot.
Two shots at the X. Stand by.
Two shots. Hey, you already know how the gun's gonna feel, so you shouldn't be nervous about that.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by.
2 shots.
Slack. Gun dry, reload,
Hey, hold
and holster. In a safe direction, unholster. Get the good grip, good stance. 2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by.
2 shots. Reacquire the sights. Everything's there, and figure off, tap, right. Do it again.
We're riding that slide.
Take another shot.
Relax that head and shoulders. Keep them up. Bring the gun to your eyes. 2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by.
2 shots.
Timer died. Yep, we're out. And stand by.
That was your first one? You feel this right here?
Yeah, I did it again.
Diaphragm. There you go. Now
Little
extend.
crunch.
There you go.
Head up.
Yeah, up.
Head up.
Relax. Yeah, there you go. Just look at the target. Bring the sights to your eyes.
Figure off.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by.
2 shots.
So the next one, you go bang, click, and bang. Click. What I want you to do is not hear the click. See how you're hearing the click after each one? By the time it settles in recoil and you've reacquired your sights, you should already be at the wall. So watch the sights where you want. Build pressure on both of them, but you're only coming out to reset. And as soon as you feel it break, relax your finger a little bit. You should feel the trigger push. Push your finger out. All right?
I want you to look at that end. Head, shoulder straight, look at that end. Now, just bring your gun up. Only move just to, and it should be right there on that end.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by.
Now bend over the diaphragm a little bit. That's how it should be every single time. Yeah.
You ran dry, gun reload and holster.
Reload and holster.
Trigger, muzzle's in a safe direction. Go ahead, unholster.
Go ahead, unholster. Good grip, good stance.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand
Look at that
by.
end. So bring that image to that end. Get down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna want to tap rack and roll.
Oh shit!
Yep,
That's
there you
what. Yeah, I did.
All right, perfect. You're good.
Oh.
All right, let's fix that grip right here. All that gap.
So you're going to be looking
Perfect.
at it.
Slack out. Smooth
the
press.
X-ray. Right, so you're looking at it, and you should still just look through that hole. You see how you're tipping your head?
Yeah. Oh, it's not up enough. And then I.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Oh, gotcha.
So you should see that image every single time. And this dot should be on that X.
Okay.
So it's you're not. You see how you're standing just straight up and down, right?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
bobbing and weaving or trying to get that tight grip, and you should be able to see that front dot through that. See? What'd you do? Move your head.
Alright,
Don't move your head. Move the gun.
What's that?
That guy.
Oh,
Now,
that guy?
is it
Yeah,
on
he gets
that
a
X?
lot of special
There
treatment.
you go.
There's another one deeper in the woods.
Do 2 shots. Bang. One more.
Beat up
You're nailing that X now.
Alright.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by. Slack. Sights.
What you're doing is looking at something.
Fingers off and
Good.
2 shots. 2 shots to the X. Stand by. Slack.
That was a little high.
So you're feeling your whole hand gripping, and then it goes, right? Keep that tight hand and only move the top half of your trigger finger in order to let that guy go. All right, two shots, yet, stand by. Squeeze.
I think we were too ahead of you. Go ahead, holster up.
Two shots, yet, stand by.
Go ahead, holster up. Put it in the holster. Okay, you're fine.
See how low that came out of your eye line.
Yeah, we were actually 2 shots ahead of you.
Unload, make it safe, slide forward and back.
Hey, go ahead, holster, John. Just drop it in the holster. That's fine. Yeah, just drop it in the holster.
I don't even know what you want me to talk about.
You
Talk
just
about dry
mentioned
fire?
it. Yeah.
All right, so dry fire, when you're at your house, you want to make sure you're completely separating any kind of live ammunition from what you're practicing with. We don't need any unexpected loud noises. It's kind of an important thing to make sure that everybody's safe and doing the things that you should be. So you got to treat these guns like they're loaded. You always point them in a safe direction, which means nobody gets killed, nobody gets injured, and if the gun goes bang for whatever reason, there's minimal property damage. So you want to set up a spot in your house or in your backyard or something that whenever you're pointing your gun and you're pressing the trigger, if that thing goes bang, that nobody gets hurt, if that makes sense. We also want to keep our finger off the trigger till we're pointed at something we're willing to shoot. So whether that's a steel target out on a range somewhere, a paper target with something safe behind it, or you're in your basement where it's got cinder blocks around or something along those lines where nothing's going to leave your house and you can control everything that's what's going on. If all your ammo is in another room and only your dry fire equipment is in that one spot that you're operating out of at your house, you're going to be a whole lot safer as opposed to just having stuff kind of mixed around, mixed in together. You don't want to be doing that in a spot where you're not supposed to be shooting. The dry fire is one of those things that you can make a whole lot of, we'll put air quotes on it, we'll call it money. You make a whole lot of money in dry fire. That's really where you start to get good, and you start to get good fast, unless you're having bad repetitions. If you end up with bad repetitions, then it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. You're just developing bad habits. And the trick in dry firing is being able to press that trigger and not move the gun at all. If you can do that with no live ammunition in your gun, then you can do that with live ammunition in your gun. You just got to not care so much about when is the gun going to go click or bang. And you just want to feel the trigger do what its job is and let the tool do the work.
So, before we go live with any rounds, there's a couple of different things that I want to go over with you. First, we're going to redo the stance, grip, side alignment, side picture. I want to make sure everything is there. All right. We're going to do a little bit of dry fire. Dry fire is really where you make the most amount of money. What I mean by that is you don't have to spend any money to get more proficient with your firearms. All right. You save your money on ammo, save your money on range time and things like that. You don't have to pay me to come out here and do dry fire. All right. Pick a safe area in your house, free of ammunition, free of anything that might potentially get damaged, and you just do dry fire. Are you aware of what kinesthetic awareness is?
Kinesthetic awareness?
Yes.
No.
So essentially what that is muscle memory, hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is once we get your stance, grip, side alignment, side picture done, is we're going to do a little bit of a drill. Okay. What that's going to do is start building up that kinesthetic awareness. Anytime that you're learning something new, it's going to take you time to be able to get to the point that you want to be at. All right. And 3 to 5 minutes a day, no more than 10, is when we'll start building up that muscle memory and that hand-eye coordination. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So first things first, we're going to make sure that our gun is empty. Okay. Gun is empty on my side. Gun is empty on your side. All right. We're going to pick them up. I'm going to start this off from scratch, okay, because you forgot the 4 safety rules. So now I got to pick on you. You remember how to build a grip, right?
Build the grip? Yes, sir.
Okay,
I
so
do drop that.
we'll do this real quick. Go ahead and build your grip. Do your stance. And if anything needs to change on you, then I will make the necessary changes. All right, because of COVID and everything else, you okay with me touching your hands, right? All right. So we're going to lift up with the gun. Solid. Pull apart the wrist. Solid. Can't pull it off. Solid. You're a pretty decent sized dude. Check your balance. Good. All right. Side alignment, side picture. We're going to aim in the middle of that lower circle. Okay. The front sight through here You see the front sight on there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to place our finger on the trigger. And whenever you're ready, let it go. Awesome. Okay, go ahead, rack it, set it down. And this is when we're going to start building up the kinesthetic awareness. So as we're doing it, whenever you're ready to go again, we pick up the gun, establish our grip, sight alignment, sight picture, pull the trigger, rack it, set it down. Ready to go again, you kind of keep on doing this 3 or 4 times. Essentially what you're doing is you're building up that muscle memory so your hands go in the same spot every single time.
Yes, sir.
All right? And you see I'm doing this right-handed, right?
I thought you was left-handed.
I am left-handed. That's how well I've trained.
Gotcha.
Make sense? So if you train yourself the same way every single time, you can pick it up every single, my fault. Pick up the gun, grip, sight alignment, sight picture, bam. That's going to start building that up. So that's what I want you to be able to do. All right? Pick up the gun whenever you're ready. Stance, grip, sight alignment, sight picture. Pull that trigger, rack it, set it down. Whenever you're just, yeah, just do it on your own time. You're going to do this for a couple of minutes, about 3 minutes. Because I'm going to throw a couple of different things at you. Are you aware of what a natural respiratory pause is?
I'll say it again.
Natural respiratory pause.
It sounds familiar, but go ahead and explain it anyway.
So the natural respiratory pause, I like to say, are you married? Yeah, you're married. You ever got into a heated debate with your wife?
Of course.
You notice how the volume levels start increasing on both sides? Why do you think that is?
The respiratory pause?
No. Why do you think that is?
It's the heated conversation.
Heated the conversation,
Yeah.
right? So your body is telling you, I don't need to hear you ears. I don't need to hear.
Yes, sir.
Woman, you're going to hear everything that's coming out of my mouth.
Right.
So your voice increases.
Right.
Okay? She is saying the same thing. I don't need to hear what you're saying. You're going to hear everything that I have to say.
Right.
Okay? Now, after that heated debate is done, you go separate ways. You start calming down, right? What do you do when you calm down?
Your heart rate lowers.
Well, what is the way to calm down?
You breathe.
Take a deep breath, right? So you breathe in and you breathe out. Have you ever noticed that you don't actually start calming down until after the exhale? You know why that is?
At that time, that's the respiratory pause you're talking about.
So at the end of the exhale, before the next inhale, your body actually stops breathing. It's a natural respiratory pause.
I remember this from the...
Right. You remember this now, right? That is when your body is at the most relaxed state.
Right.
So what I want you to do after this one, once you pick up the gun, take a deep breath in, exhale out, find that natural respiratory pause. Once you hit that pause, then pull that trigger, rack it, and set it down.
Okay.
Start trying to find that pause now, because we're taking baby steps.
Yes, sir.
A couple more times. There you go. Solid. All right. You can stop there for a second. What is your goal with this?
To be pretty much as good as, like I can compete if I wanted to.
So you want to try to get to like the competition level?
Yeah, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be as good as, if I want it to be second nature almost.
Gotcha. So, like I told the previous client that was out here, dry fire, this thing right now, is going to be your moneymaker.
Right.
3 to 5 minutes a day, it'll help you start building up those skills.
Right.
All right. Today, any live fire shooting that we're going to be doing, it's all going to be slow and methodical. All right. We need to build that foundation first before we start working on speed and things like that for the competition shoots. All right. You think you're ready to go hot?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's try it out. You got your own ammo magazines?
I do.
All right. Let's go ahead and load up a magazine to 10. Get my eyes and ears on.
I mean, I have my own ammo, but if I can use yours,
You can for, additional cost.
Okay.
Ammo's not free.
It was worth a try.
It was worth a try.
Need my ammo real quick.
But yeah, for future references, next time you come out and see me, if you can't find ammo, I know sometimes it can be kind of scarce. We have ammo in stock. You just have to pay whatever it costs us to get it. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then whatever you don't shoot that day, you'll be able to take home with you.
Makes sense.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and put your ear protection on. I'd hate for your ears to be ringing.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
Slow and methodical. You don't have to rack it. Go ahead, set the gun down real quick. We're going to do this. That's a big area. We're going to unload this.
It's a big area.
Yeah, that's a big area. So what we're going to do,
What's the big area?
the circle.
The gap between the two shots?
No, the circle itself.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm going to do, draw a smaller circle inside of that. All right? You're at 5 yards.
I like it.
You're at 5 yards.
I like it. Yes, sir.
That's only 15 feet. Go ahead and load up.
Come on, man. Okay.
Get inside of that smaller circle I just drew. Now, before you shoot, what did you see?
What did I see?
Yeah.
The circle.
You saw the circle? Did you see your hands drop when you pulled the trigger?
Okay, no, I didn't.
All right, that's called anticipation. All right.
Okay.
Couple of reasons why I drew that circle on there. One, I couldn't tell what you were really aiming at,
Okay.
but I could tell that your rounds are going a little bit low.
Mm-hmm.
When you felt your hands drop, when you pulled the trigger and nothing happened, that's called anticipation.
Okay.
Okay. You were doing it fine at dry fire.
Yeah.
You weren't moving, wasn't doing anything. And this is the biggest hurdle that a lot of new shooters have to overcome. Transitioning from dry fire, not having any ammunition in your gun, to having ammunition in your gun, and big loud noises happen. All right. So what a lot of new shooters do is they anticipate. But if I anticipate that recoil, you see my body.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens to the gun when I do that? It goes down.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So the idea is everything stays still. Only move the finger.
Okay.
Did you see the other 9 fingers move?
Nope.
Only move the finger. Biggest hurdle that everybody has to overcome. Let's try it again. Good. Find the natural respiratory pause. If the shot's not there, don't take it. Good. Good. A little bit of anticipation. Good. You're starting to get a little fatigued now. Go ahead and set the gun down. Now, we talked about this while you were in class a couple weeks ago. You're a pretty decent sized dude. Fair to say you've gone to the gym once or twice?
Yes, sir.
What happens when your muscles start getting fatigued?
The form.
Your form goes off?
Mm-hmm.
You're not able to put up as much weight?
Yes, sir.
All right? Same thing with shooting. It, believe it or not, it's a lot of shoulder workout to keep your arms extended with weight in your hand. And the longer you keep that gun up, the more you're going to start getting tired. All right? This is slow fire. We got to build up to competition. All right? So the next couple of rounds, take the shot, set it down, relax, walk around like people in the gym do, right? Come back to it and now do the next set.
Okay.
Set it down. All right, I'm not going to let you beat me. Now pick it up and do the next set.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, treat it just like a gym. You can't pump out. Well, I mean, you probably could. 25 reps at 215 on a bench without setting it down at least once or twice. Make sense? Same thing with a gun. I try to connect with the shooters.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, and you go to the gym, so we're going to use gym technology or gym terminology here.
That works.
A little bit of anticipation. All right, we're going to do another magazine. Anticipation is what I want you to try to focus on. And what a lot of shooters do is, as they're preparing for that combustion to go off inside of the gun when the round leaves the chamber, they lean forward without even thinking about it. That's the anticipation. I cannot get you to overcome that. You have to be able to overcome that. I can show you that you're doing it, all right? But you have to be the one that's like, okay, I know what a 9mm recoil feels like. I'm ready for this to happen. You are the one shooting the gun. You are the one in control of that gun going off. So you know the recoil of the gun. So why are we anticipating it?
I think for me, it's I'm trying to get that respiratory pause down packed as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about the pause, and I don't think I'm necessarily thinking about the recoil of it, because I know it's not going to blow me back.
Right.
So I think it's more so because of the pause and just me anticipating it.
So think about it like this way. All right. The next couple of rounds that we do, I'm going to unload this, right? Treat it like a checklist. I'm going to do this left-handed because I'm left-handed, all right? Gun on the table, ammunition inside the gun. For this demonstration, there's going to be no ammunition. I'm ready to take the shot. So, checklist. What's the first thing we do? Stance. Okay, cool. Stance. What's the next thing we do? Pick up the gun, right? We got to pick up the gun. We got to establish our grip. So we're here. We got our grip established. What's the next thing we do? Aim it. Sight alignment. Sight picture. If my grip is on the gun, sight alignment, sight picture, everything is there. Those are the three main things, right? Now it's just a matter of finding that natural respiratory pause and pulling the trigger at that pause. So what I like to do is I pick up the gun. Okay, I got my stance. Pick up the gun. I take a deep breath in as I'm establishing my grip. When I exhale, kind of like, I don't know, benching. Okay? When do you exhale on a bench? As you're pushing the weight up, right? So take a deep breath in. I lift it off the rack. We're going to use gym terminology, right? I lift it off the rack. I got it down on my chest. I got my grip established. My grip is good. Keep the elbows in. And I push that bar off my chest. Exhale. By the time my sights are aligned, I should be out of breath. I should hit that natural respiratory pause. So once you run out of breath, you've hit that natural respiratory pause. All you're doing is reconfirming that your sights are there and pulling that trigger. And you just set it down. So think of it as a checklist. One, I don't like to use numbers, but first things first, stance, grip. Take a deep breath in, push that bar out. Sight alignment, sight picture. I'm out of breath. Everything looks good. And pull that trigger. Make sense? We're going to do this again. You trust me, right?
I do.
Okay. The round is in my hand.
Yes, sir.
There is nothing inside of that gun.
Okay.
Take your shot. Put your ear protection on. Go over that checklist. Stance, grip. Take that deep breath in, push out, exhale. Find that natural respiratory pause. Why all that movement?
Damn. Oh my goodness.
Why all that movement? Dante,
I know it's empty.
what was the question I asked you? Do you trust me?
I do trust you, man. I do. I guess I'm not showing that I trust you because I'm leaning. Wow.
It's not that you're not showing me that you don't trust me. I'm trying to show you the anticipation.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, normally I have snap cap rounds out here, training ammunition, and I mix those up with live ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do 10 shots.
So you don't know when it's coming.
5 will be live, 5 will be training rounds. All right, and people will start seeing that anticipation. However, my business partner has the snap cap round, so I have to go old school. All right, this is an old school way of teaching it. I showed you the round.
Yeah.
The round is right here.
Yeah.
When you're dry firing, you're doing everything perfect.
Yeah.
Now we got to carry that dry fire over to live ammunition. Nothing should change.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I also have snap cap as well.
and do me a favor,
Same thing.
when you get upset, don't throw the gun on the table. Because you racked it, then you kind of threw it on the table.
Okay.
Just set it down. We are in the range.
Yes, sir.
Take your shot. All right, go ahead and set it down real quick. Matter of fact, we'll do this. Get inside that circle.
All right.
Or circles.
Right.
Three amigos. Don't squeeze those 3 fingers. I like dealing with people that are competitive because then they won't let it beat them. A little bit of the 3 amigos. Good. The way that felt, do that every single time. Good. Shot wasn't there, so you didn't take it. So, 3 amigos. All right. Go ahead and take the magazine out. We're going back up. We're going to do a little bit of dry fire. It's a little frustrating, isn't it?
It is.
You're a perfectionist.
Try to be.
You're not going to get this the first go around. It's a new skill, right? Anytime you learn something new, are you the best at it the first time around?
No.
You got to work at it, all right? This is where we work. We're building the foundation for you to become a competition shooter or get to that point then you can make that decision if you want to. All right. But the best competition shooters in the world didn't start off as the best competition shooters in the world. Make sense? Whenever you're ready, do some dry fire. Make sure everything is there. Why are you moving?
Saw that.
There you go. A little bit of movement, but it's still solid. Dry fire as much as you want. When you feel like you're ready to put more rounds down range, go ahead and load up. But this is where we start building up that repetition. The more times we dry fire the correct way, the probability of being able to hit what we're aiming at just increase that much, if that makes any sense. You ready? Go ahead and take 10 rounds, load them up. This sun came out of nowhere. It was 50 freaking degrees this morning when I woke up. I woke up, turned my heat on in the house. I'm like, huh?
It was chilly this morning. What type of sights do you have on yours? It looks like it's kind of same one. Those the night sights?
Yeah, so I've got a Mariglow on mine. One of the things I dislike about Glock, Glock is a workhorse. You can drag it through the mud, and it'll continue working for you. That's why a lot of our 3 and 4 letter agencies and our law enforcement agencies have moved over to Glock. Problem is, right out of the box, Glock has the U-shaped sight in the rear and a white dot in the front. Self-defense purposes, I want my sights to be able to glow in the dark at night.
Yep.
So that's one of the first things I do to my Glocks is I replace the sights for night sights on the Glock. But these are Ameriglow sights. You can see the bright orange dot during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see that same bright orange dot at night.
Yeah. That's the same kind of, I guess, style of the one that I was trying to put on.
Yeah. Trigicon does the same thing. Those are good sights. Ameriglow, there's a few different other sights out there. Me personally, I go with the Ameriglow.
Mm-hmm.
Trigicon has brighter rear sight, but at nighttime, if my grip, my stance, and everything is there, the only thing I should be picking up, or the only thing I want to pick up, is going to be that front sight. Right. I don't want to be distracted by the two. Right. Rear sights is going to be just as bright as the front. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. We got live rounds? Sure. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Ear protection on. Good. Do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
That round target on the left,
Uh-huh.
I want all the rounds to stay inside that round target on the left.
Okay.
You put 10 rounds in that magazine,
Yes, sir.
so I should see 9 little holes in that round target on the left.
Yes, sir.
What was wrong?
I guess the Three Amigos.
Three Amigos.
I didn't feel like I was anticipating, but the proof's on the paper.
Now, Three Amigos and anticipation are two different things. Okay?
Yeah.
The Three Amigos, as you're pulling that trigger, you're squeezing these 3 fingers. Have everything set. Squeeze that gun. So even if you squeeze it harder when you pull the trigger, it's not going to move. All right? Anticipation is you just leaning into it as you're pulling that trigger. Okay? Three Amigos, you're squeezing those 3 fingers, not necessarily anticipation.
Okay.
All right? Next shot. We've got 7 more.
Yes, sir.
I'm not worried about the time. We still got about 20 minutes.
I can feel my stance.
Good. Three Amigos. All right, we'll do this. Watch. Gun is empty, right?
Yes, sir.
Dry fire. Just do 5 iterations of dry fire. Little bit of movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Find that natural respiratory pause. Side alignment, side picture, everything is there. Control the trigger. All right. So what I see you doing is you'll find that wall as you establish, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you pull the trigger, watch my finger. You pull the trigger and you see how it came off the trigger so fast?
Mm-hmm.
All right. In a competition setting and a self-defense setting, right? We want to shoot until the threat is stopped.
True.
We don't want to shoot until we don't want to kill anybody, right? We're just stopping a threat. We're trying to win a competition, right? So if I'm shooting, my finger needs to be on that trigger until I'm done shooting. You ever see it come off?
No.
I release it, I pull the trigger, the gun goes through a cycle of operations, I release it, feel it reset, and then I take my next shot. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go all the way off. Pull the trigger, go off, let the gun do its thing, and then find a wall again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is not a fully automatic gun. You can keep your finger on that trigger, and it's going to stay to the rear, not shooting, until pay attention to the gun, right? You hear that click?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm able to pull the gun again, and I'm right there at that wall. I do that better with my left hand. Okay? So I find a wall on my first shot. I pull the trigger. Round goes off. Gun goes through the cycle of operation. My finger is still on it. Once the cycle of operations is done, if I'm going to take another shot right away, all I do is loosen up the finger so the trigger itself resets. I'm already at that wall, so all I got to do is pull the trigger again. Make sense? Control the trigger. Don't let the trigger control you. So let's do a little bit more dry fire. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to throw you a couple of my rounds. And my box O bullets. Hold it to the rear. So go ahead, rack the slide. Next time you pull the trigger, hold it to the rear, all the way back to the rear, then rack the slide.
Okay.
Rack the slide. Now ease it out, feel it reset. You see what I'm talking about? You feel that? That's how you should be doing it when you're shooting. You're letting off pressure from that trigger ever so slightly, just enough to where it actually resets. And you feel the reset every single time.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I guess that is 10 rounds. You trust me, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the round.
All right.
There's nothing inside that gun.
Uh-huh.
You trust me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Take your shot.
Which you want me to hit?
Same thing.
Same down on the left?
Briscoe, zoom in on the gun. Why all that movement? You were doing it when you were dry firing.
Yeah.
That gun was not moving when you were dry firing. First question I asked you was what?
Do I trust you?
You said you do, right?
Yes, sir.
Why do we have all that movement? You knew the gun was empty. I showed you the round. Now you have a round of the chamber. But you understand the hurdle. I can't, I wish I could. There's nothing that I could say to you or have you do other than dry fire and taking what we do in dry fire over to live rounds going down range. But it's a mental thing that you as a shooter have to be able to overcome. I can't teach that. I wish I could.
All right, I'm ready.
Go ahead, take your shot. Put it down. You see what you shot?
Uh-huh.
Do that every single time. Yeah. Now, my whole thing, and I'm going to unload this before I go down range. Competition shooters, right? In the competition world, if it breaks the line, you get the higher value of whatever point it is. So if that was a 10 and that was a 9, because it broke that 10 ring, you got 10 points. So I'm okay with that. The way that that felt when you shot that round, every single time. All right, you ready? Downrange is clear. Let's try it again. You don't need to do that. It's semi-automatic. Auto loader. It automatically loaded that other round. Don't worry. We'll find it later. Yeah, keep on going. Equal height, equal light, clear front sight. Focus on that front sight. Good. A little bit of the squeezing, not bad as before. Good. Good. If you need to set the gun down, set the gun down. Good. Three amigos again. You felt it?
Mm-hmm. I did feel it.
So, go ahead and set the gun down real quick. Pop the ears off. Here's a,
Some of it is fatigue as well.
could be fatigue as well,
Yeah.
right? So, the point that you should try to be able to get at,
Mm-hmm.
and this comes along with spending time with an instructor, whether it be me. I don't know if you like me right now, because apparently apparently you're getting upset because you're not hitting what you're aiming at. It's a joke. Yeah, it's you're mad at yourself. Okay, but the point that every shooter should strive to get to, whether it's self-defense or competition or whatever it is they're going to be using a pistol for, is knowing what you did right, knowing what you did incorrectly. I don't want to say wrong. Wrong sounds harsh. Or knowing what you did incorrectly every single time you pull the trigger. All right? And it sounds like you're starting to get to that point. All right? Because that last one, it went down and to the left. You're like, I could tell that was a Three Amigos. All right? You're starting to understand the fundamentals of being able to place accurate shots. And if you're able to understand the fundamentals and call your shots, in other words, how it felt when you pulled the trigger and comparing to what the target actually says, all right, that is a sign of being a proficient shooter, a more competent shooter. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm not looking at the target. I'm looking at the gun, all right? And what I see the gun doing, then I confirm with what the target actually says. I'm like, okay, I saw what the gun did. All right, you should be able to do that every single time as you pull the trigger. Whenever you're ready. Good. Good. You lost it on our last one.
I did. I
All right.
tried to reset and everything, but it wasn't there.
Okay. So, I'm not so concerned about the shots being on this little one. All right. When we first started aiming at this, I said I wanted them inside this target. All right. From what I could tell, you only dropped two once we started fixing everything. You're starting to get better. It's going to improve over time. As long as we get all the shots inside this circle or this circle, because we're going to do another mag at 10. We got enough time to do another mag at 10. We're going to do it on this circle. Dante, you trust me, right? Okay. I want all 10 shots to be inside this circle. 15 feet away, that should be an easy task to do. All right? Go ahead, load up another mag at 10. Once we're done with this mag at 10, we're going to be done for the day.
Okay.
But if you're going to... That circle on the right. What was wrong with that one?
I took my finger off.
Okay. Set the gun down. You keep on talking about fatigue, right?
Yeah.
Look, we're here for another, we'll call it 8 minutes. 10 after we're done. We got students coming out for this weekend's class.
Okay.
Roughly, you have a minute per shot. Plenty of time.
Yeah. I got you.
All
I
right.
don't want to take that long. I think that's a part of it too. I don't want to take that long. All right, I'm ready.
Do you run?
Uh-huh.
Okay. First time you ever ran a mile, what was your time? On the clock.
Oh man, I don't even remember. It was bad.
It was bad, right?
It was bad, yeah.
Okay. What is your mile run right now?
I can get you 7 minutes.
For a mile?
Uh-huh. Right now.
Right now? Okay. It's pretty decent, right? I just looked surprised. My fastest mile was 5:30. So, but that was when I was in shape, right? But that's a key point. When I'm in shape, I could run a mile in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Right now, I'll probably give you a mile in like 10 minutes. You're out of shape with shooting. You got to condition yourself. That's where the fundamentals come into play. Condition the fundamentals. Dry fire will get you there. You got 8 shots. You got a minute a shot. If the shot's not there, set it down, step back, and then when you're ready to put that weight up, approach the bar again. You got one in the chamber. You trust me, right?
Yes, sir.
You have one in the chamber. What was wrong with that one?
The lean. 3 amigos.
3 amigos. What was wrong with that one? You're getting fatigued. So have you ever played? I'm trying to give you as many analogies as I can.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do this.
I played basketball all my life.
You played basketball all your life?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a reason why I'm setting the keys down there.
Okay.
You ever play any musical instruments?
No.
Okay, you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
How long can you do this before you start messing up?
Depends on how fast I'm going, but yeah. I guess.
It'll take a little bit before you start actually messing up, right? We as humans, our hands move in unison.
Yep.
All right. You saw me put the keys on the table, right? When you leave the house and you're like, oh, forgot my keys. They're on the counter. And you go to grab the keys, do you grab them like this? Or you grab them like this? You grab them with your whole entire hand, all right? These things that I'm telling you, I can't teach you. You just have to learn how to do. Our hands are used to moving in unison. And the reason why I asked you to, if you've ever played an instrument, people that play the piano, the guitar, the saxophone, any kind of instrument, right, besides drums or percussions, they have to be able to have their fingers move independently to get a certain note. If they're holding on a guitar, if you have all 4 of your fingers on that fret, you're not going to get the note you want if you only need 2 fingers. Right. Saxophone. I've been playing saxophone my entire life. Same thing. You have to learn how your fingers move independently. Right. And the key is that everything stays still, just that one finger. But it's a hard hurdle to overcome. All right? Good. Three amigos. Don't rush it.
Reason why I rushed at that time because I feel like I'm thinking about it too much. I'm getting in my own head, so that time I was trying to go a little faster to see if that was going to be something that helped me.
Right. And did it?
No.
I rushed it because I know what good feels like. If the shot feels good, I'm going to take the shot. But you're not ready for that. Okay? Do the checklist. Stance is there. Good. Got it. Get my grip. Sight alignment, sight picture. Focus on that front sight. If you have to, close your non-dominant eye and pull the trigger. I really just wanted to shoot those 10 rounds, but I'm trying to prove a point at the same time. And I had, legitimately, I think the last time I shot, when was the last time I shot? Like, you have seen me shoot.
Last time I seen you shoot, like really shoot,
Like a year ago?
it's been close to a year. It's been close to a year.
But you have to,
the beginning of this year.
close to a year, all right? But you have to understand the fundamentals. You have to apply the fundamentals, all right? Don't beat yourself up over it because you don't get it the first time around. It's going to take time, practice, dry fire, all right? How many more rounds you got?
You got one in the chamber already.
Yeah, you got one in the chamber. Last one?
That's it.
All right. Focus. Good. I'll take it. But you hit that target. May not be where you want it to be, but you see that the movement of the rest of your body is not moving as much.
Yeah.
You're starting to be able to control that.
I can sense or feel when I'm doing it right. It's just controlling it every time.
Dry fire is going to be the only way that you're going to be able to do that every single time.
Yeah. It's like when I'm playing basketball, you feel when it's a good shot. It's making sure you're getting it every time. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You want to come out another couple of weeks?
Absolutely.
I know your schedule's kind of all over the place.
It's all over the place. I got a baby boy. So.
Yeah.
But no, definitely, I'll definitely be hitting you up.
All right, brother.
Sooner rather than later.
Well, in the meantime, from now until the next time we meet,
Mm-hmm.
your homework is going to be dry fire. I know you got a baby boy.
Oh, no, I can drop fire.
You can dry fire. So when he wakes up in the middle of the night, you can't go back to sleep. Pick up the gun and do some dry fire.
Yes, sir.
Make sense?
Will do.
All right, brother. I'll see you next time. And, yeah, $75 for the hour.
Yes, sir.
You going to do card or cash?
Card.
All right.
I can bring cash next time if that's better.
Yeah, my card reader is, you got Cash App or something?
I do.
Yeah, you just want to cash.
Eye or right eye, whichever one is dominant, is going to be the one that works the longest under stress. Because tunnel vision is a thing under stress, and we want to make sure we're doing that. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to walk down the line. I'm going to shake each one of your hands. So I think we did that yesterday in the classroom with you guys to show you where the pressure needs to be on the gun when you grip it. Does that kind of make sense? So I'm going to show you where the pressure needs to be on your hands, and then that way when you grip the gun, the pressure goes in the right spot. What a lot of people end up doing is they try to grip the gun like this, and then under stress, your brain goes, I want to shoot the gun now, and you add pressure when you shoot. So if you're adding pressure somewhere on the gun while you're shooting, you're moving the barrel out of the way to do what you want, and now the bullets go in different directions. Does that kind of make sense? So instead of gripping like this, we're going to want to grip like this. So you see this little portion of meat right here on my thumb? Looks like a little chicken drumstick. The gun wants to rest right here in the palm of your hand for the most part. It's a good place to start. Everybody's hands are a little different, and so we might have to adjust you a little bit as we shoot or whatever, but for the most part, we'll start right here. And we want to press the heel of the gun, the front strap being this finger of mine and the back strap being here. We want to press like this. So I'm going to walk down the line, be listening to the people as I come, starting on this end, as I move one way or to the other, listening to what I'm saying to them. And then as we move forward, you guys will already know what we're looking for. Does that kind of make sense? All right. I'm going to go ahead and start on here. Grip my hand like you grip a pistol. So we'll use a straight, down here like that, straight trigger finger. All right. And that's how you grip a pistol.
Well, it's kind of hard. Actually.
That's all right. Go ahead. There, that's what I'm looking for, right? Now, you got a lot of pressure here on the fingertips and a lot of pressure down here on the thumb. I'll tell you now, the thumbs are just along for the ride. They don't really do a whole lot. So instead of gripping like this, I want you to grip like this. You feel the difference?
I see what you mean. Like, use these fingers.
Right. So pull in on these guys. And instead of pushing in on the thumb, we want to rotate like this. You see how I bent your wrist up?
Mm-hmm.
Try to make my wrist do that.
Like bend it up?
There we go. So without moving your elbow or your shoulder, notice how all the pressure went right here.
Mm-hmm. And
all the pressure went right here. That's how you hold that pistol.
So maybe, okay.
Yep, so front to back pressure with your shooting hand, your firing hand, that's what we're going to want right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll come back.
All right. So weird thing, I know I'm a little bit of an odd character. All right, whenever I walk up and I shake somebody's hand, I get another example of how to grip my gun. Does that kind of make sense? So I shake people's hand like this. So I get one more repetition of how I grip my pistol. You think about how many people's hands I shake in a day.
I get a lot of that military.
There you go. So we'll grip like that. Put these things underneath of here. There you go. And we want to grip like this. That's pretty good. Give me a little more pressure right here. That's it right there. Relax your thumb a little bit. Perfect. Just like that. And whenever we grip the gun, we don't want to pulse the grip, because when we shoot, we don't want it to do that, right? So when you grip your gun, hold that grip in place and keep all that tension exactly like it is. And we're only going to move the trigger finger. Notice I'm only moving the top half too, right? Everybody kind of see that? Only move the top half. If we move this part, where's the gun want to point? Wherever I'm pointing my finger to, right? So we keep this one straight, this little joint right here, and we're only moving that. Is everybody following? Okay. Go ahead and grip my hand like you grip a pistol. Put these three down here. There we go. Good. That's looking pretty good. And we're gripping like this right here, right? Good. So I got a lot more pressure here than I do here. So instead of pushing your heel down, we want to push the other way. Push here. Relax your wrist for a second. See how it's floppy? And I can bend your wrist up. Try to make my wrist bend up. Keep the thumb rotating this way. Rotate. There we go. Just like that. Pull in more right there. Don't keep the wrist the same. There you go. Pull in right here. That's it right there. You feel the difference? Right there? That's where we want to pull in. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I keep gripping your hand so hard.
It's okay. I just have bad hands. I'm old.
Yeah. We all are getting that way, aren't we? That's the way it ends up going. All right. Perfect. Perfect. That's good. Pull in right here like that. You feel how that's working? And you see how your wrist is set. I can't bend that up because you've got it nice and tight pointing in the other direction. Your gun's going to want to try and kick your hand up, right? If you put the pressure right here like you're doing, when that gun kicks, it's not going to go anywhere.
But look at my pointing finger. It's going
That's
down.
okay. That's perfect.
Okay.
So when you touch the trigger, so I'm not trying to be weird or nothing, but when I pull the trigger, and you can do the same thing here. That's where you go. See? That's perfect. You did a good job. All right. There you go. So you got a lot of thumb pressure pushing down right here. We want to relax that thumb. So essentially, whenever I pick up a gun, I'm making a gun to take a gun. My finger, this is my trigger finger, stays straight and off the trigger until I'm actually pointing at something that I want to shoot.
Okay.
So same kind of concept. There you go. So relax this thumb. I want you to pull in on these. There it is. All right, and then try and bend my wrist up. There it is. Leave your shoulder and your elbow alone and just use your wrist. That's it right there. Don't pulse it. Set it. We set it and we leave it just like that. Relax the thumb a little bit. There you go. You feel how tight that pinky is on my hand? Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Now, if you think about it, let me get over here so you guys can kind of see. My safe direction, if I demonstrate anything with my pistol, is going to be at that tree right there and that tree right there. So if anything goes bang, it won't. But if anything did, I know what's going to catch those rounds. Everybody's good with that? All right, so I'm going to draw out my pistol. I'm going to check it. Once, I look at all your bright smiling faces, and I'll check it twice, make sure it's empty, even a third time maybe with my other finger. Everybody's good with that? All right, so see this curved portion right here. Remember, that's called the tang. All right, so the gun wants to rotate right here in your hand like this. Where do I have the most leverage over the gun to keep it from doing this? Right here at the bottom. Making sense? So the web of my hand is going to go as high as I can get it to go up here in the curved portion called the tang. And then when I grip the gun, I want to pull in here, right? I want even amount of pressure on all three of these fingers, but I really want to focus on that pinky and setting my wrist where it needs to go. Is that making sense to everybody? All right, when I take my other hand, my support hand, see all this real estate that I got right here? I want to cover all of that with skin. So I'm going to point my thumb towards my target and look how that marries up nicely with that. So I'm going to put all that skin on the side of that pistol. Is that making sense? Notice that there's no gap right here. There's no gap right here. And my thumb and my trigger finger are about on line with each other. And once again, everybody's grip is going to be a little bit different, so we'll tweak it for you as you grip your guns. And you're going to buy your own gun anyway. So when you get your own pistols, you're going to have to figure out the best grip for your gun. But the idea is that we stay nice and high up here, because this slide wants to rotate this way, right? We want to maximize the leverage we have against the gun and minimize the leverage that the gun has on us. Good there? We want to put as much skin on the frame as possible. That way the gun's not moving around in our hands when we shoot. Good there? Any questions on that? All right. Now where the pressure needs to be with your support hand, the placement goes here. Notice my thumb is all the way across the top. But really what I'm looking for is I'm going to press into the slide or into the frame right here with the back of my hand. So the heel of my hand is really where I'm putting the pressure. My fingertips, these 3 fingertips right here, 4, are actually just pinning on the other side. But I want all that skin to be touching skin right here. And I'm clamping down. Don't do this with your guns. But if I let go at the front, I should be able to shake it because I got all that side-to-side pressure in the back. So I'm really clamping down on it. If you imagine a grape right here, we want to crush the grape in the back of the hand, let all that juice slide out. Everybody following on that one? Any questions? And that's how the grip is going to end up being. Good there? All right. Our stance. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Knees are slightly bent. And I want to take your feet and drop that, since we're all right-handed, take that right foot and drop that back about halfway, maybe a little bit further, but you're going to be slightly staggered. Everybody can see my feet, right? Feet are about here. And remember we talked about where to put the weight, right? If we're on our heels, when the gun kicks, what's going to happen? One of my favorite things to do to guys that are very large is to walk over and push them over with one finger. If I can do that, you're leaning too far back. So a lot of instructors will tell you, stick your butt out. We don't need to do that. We're going to engage our core a little bit, little flex in the core, and we're going to bend basically at the ankles till we feel our toes digging through our shoes into the ground. You remember Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal? Right? Those skiers that go down the hill, Olympic skiers, and they go up and their skis are like this, is basically what we're doing. So it's almost like we're going to sprint down there and touch the targets and then run back. So if we're getting ready to sprint down there, I'm going to beat you to them targets. You're ready to go. That's kind of the idea. So if you've ever played any sport in your entire life, you've probably been in this position before. Our brains do this under stress anyway to defend ourselves. It's a fighting stance. Everybody's good with that one? No questions? All right, now I'm going to come by and I'm going to check your stance and your grip. John's over there hanging out, so I guess I won't demonstrate it too much. But I'm going to try to grab the front of your barrel. I'm trying to lift it up. If you're aimed in somewhere, that wrist should be nice and tight. When I grip on the gun, you shouldn't let me bend it up. If it flops like this, there's not going to be a whole lot of good. Does that make sense? All right. Then I'm going to check your grip. See how my heels are coming together right here? I'm going to try to separate your wrist. You shouldn't let me do it. Keep those back of the hands engaged. Good there? So I'm going to check your wrist set. I'm going to check your grip set. You're there, and I might end up pushing on your trigger guard to see if I can get you to fall over. Everybody's good? All right. You want a demo? All right, yeah. Come on by. I'll go ahead and... Yeah, I'll demo with you. You got an empty gun or no? Okay, I'll demo with mine. All right, so safe direction still is going to be that tree. I'm going to sight in. My feet should be slightly staggered. I should be leaning on my toes. If I'm up on my heels and he pushes on my light underneath of there and I rock back, that's not really what we're looking for. So engage your toes into the ground, and then as he pushes, I'm not really going anywhere. Does that make sense? Your body's going to move a little bit, but it shouldn't be a whole lot. Now, if he gets underneath of my gun like this and he lifts up on it, if I flop, that's not tight enough, right? So as I set my tension, when he goes to lift on it, it's not going anywhere. Does that make sense? And we're just going to give you about 9mm recoil. We're only shooting 22s today, so it's going to be a lot less than what we're giving you. Good there? He's going to try, let's face this way. All right. He's going to try and separate my wrists. If they come apart and off the gun, it's not going to help. So when you set your wrist tension properly, they shouldn't go anywhere. One more thing he's going to try and do is slide my hand off of the gun here, right? So if he pulls on this, my left wrist, pull on my left, if it slides down, I don't have the tension set where I need it. I need to lock it in place and leave it alone. So now when he tries to pull down on that wrist, it's not going anywhere. Any questions on that? All right, good deal. I'm going to go ahead and show you some trigger control stuff before we get started. So while you're waiting on me or Jason or John to come by and check your grip and your stance, we want to take a look at the trigger. So while nobody's in front of us, you'll be able to have your gun out and you'll try and press the trigger without moving the gun. So remember in the classroom we were talking about why not triple check just to make sure. All right, we'll double check, triple check. Here we go. So you see that trigger's moving a little bit, right? There's a bunch of slop, some people call it slack, but there's a lot of space in there that the gun's not really doing any work on the inside. So all that movement can be done before you get the gun to your eye line. You still need to be pointed at your target, but it might not quite be in your eye line. So you take the slack out. Now when I take the slack out, and I'm going to pause there while I look at my sights. So if you're looking at my front sight, you remember in the classroom when we did this? You're looking at that white dot. I'm just going to build pressure on it, and I'm going to let it do its job. If I don't care when the gun goes click or bang, and I just press the shot, this front sight should stay still. Now, if I leave my hand kind of loose, my brain knows when it's about to shoot. Just like you guys are going to know when the guns are about to shoot on the range that we shoot today. If you know when it's about to shoot, and you're like, it's time to shoot it right now, and you tighten your hand up, what's going to happen with the barrel? It's going to go somewhere, and we don't want it to go anywhere. We want it to keep it still. So I'm going to reset the trigger. Notice that my trigger's back again where it's supposed to be. I'll take the slack out. Watch my front sight. I'm going to leave my hand loose, and somebody tell me now, and I'll press the trigger.
Now.
How much did the gun move? Not much. Did it move?
I didn't see it.
So the further you get back, the more that's going to affect your shot. So now, as I build pressure, and I don't care when, how did I do on that one? Didn't move at all, right? Because I don't care when it goes bang. And it can be fast. It can be slow. Doesn't really matter as long as it comes straight back to the rear. And that's going to be our goal today. Everybody's good with that? So while you're waiting on me or Jason or John to get with you and check your stance and grip, you can be working on this. Ideally, if you can do this with one hand, you're really good. And if you can do it with two hands, it's even easier. Making sense so far? And then we'll add in a sight picture. One other thing I'll add is I'm going to put these cones down on the ground in front of you. I typically will put these pretty close because I want to see the line, the angle between your eye, your rear sight, your front sight, and the target, because all of them have to be in a flat line. Does that make sense to everybody? And I'll put a couple over here so you guys can see those as well. So go ahead and line up here behind one of these cones. Stay back behind the table. Stay back there. Just be behind one of these cones. And then I will start. Which side do you want?
I'll take a big end of both.
Okay. Jason will start on this side. I'll start on this side. We'll work on your stance and grip. And we'll see where we go from there. All right? So if you're waiting on one of us, you can go ahead now that there's nobody out in front of you. Make sure we're only pointing at the paper, not at people. Go ahead and draw out your pistols. You don't have to unlock them. The slides are locked to the rear. You can just pull straight out. There we go. All right, fingers are off the trigger. There we go. And you can check inside the chamber, inside the barrel. Make sure you look down that magazine well without pointing it at anybody. Nothing's in the gun, right? All right, so we always want to check. We look away, check it twice, check it again. We want to confirm.
Check this direction, not that
Always check this direction. If there's
Okay.
anything in there, there's a problem, right? Anything down there?
No.
All right, you see the grass through there?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right. You can go ahead and grab the back of the slide, pull back a little bit, and let go. There we go. Perfect. All right. You can start working on that trigger control while we help you with stance and grip. All right, so one hand, try to press the trigger without moving the gun. Pull back on the slide a little bit to reset it, and you're all set. If you need to take a break, just holster up, and we'll be with you in a second. I'm going to start down here on this end. Yes, and this one just kind of hangs out. You don't need to push on it. You just kind of let it hang out. Notice that you're away from this slide lock right here, right? Thumb and index finger on line with each other. Mm-hmm. No gap right here, and there's no gap between here. Now that's where you want your pressure, is right there like that.
At the bottom?
At the bottom, yep.
Right there.
Now you can do it at the top, that's okay, but some people end up pushing on this ejection or the slide catch. All right, I'm gonna try and lift up on your barrel. Don't let me do it. Good. Relax this thumb. There you go. All the tension should be in your wrist. Good. I'm gonna try and separate them. Good and good. All right. It's looking pretty solid.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Now go ahead and sight in on this cone right here.
Move up.
No, just stay where you are, pointed at the cone. The top of this guy right here should be touching the orange. The top of this is touching the cone.
Oh, the orange, yeah. The
Yeah,
color.
and the top of this should also be touching the cone, right?
As far as that silver piece.
Yeah, that
Somewhere
big,
right here.
the top, the very
Oh,
top,
yeah,
the whole top of that plastic. Now, I made a little window right here with my finger. Can you look through that window and still see that white dot?
I cannot.
All right, so you got to adjust that so you see that little football.
Uh-huh.
Have that rest right on the goalpost. You see kind of how that looks like a goalpost?
Oh,
And that looks like a football. Rest that football right on the goalpost.
oh, that's the point down.
Good, there we go. So the top of this should be even with the top of this.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then if I make a little window, you still see the white dot through there?
Yeah.
All right, now you're looking at that white dot, right? You see how they got a little couple lines on it? It's a little dirty. That's what you want to be. You want that very, very clear if you can. Good with that?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and put your finger on the trigger and pull back a little bit till you feel it get tight. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right about there. Did you feel it get tight? You find a wall right there? So if you take the slack out and you stop at the wall, we'll confirm our sights look the way that we want. And then just build pressure and don't care when it does its thing. Keep building, yep, keep building pressure, straight back, all the way. Whenever you're ready, just keep building. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and rack that slide and make sure it's set on there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've racked the slide for you. Go ahead and touch the trigger again. Find the wall. There we go. You found it got tight right there, right? And we're just going to build pressure and let it do its thing. Keep going straight back. All right. And we'll go ahead and take a look at this. Let go of the gun for me. Kind of an interesting thing. There we go. All right, now we're good. Try it again. All right, get that grip like we talked about. Nice and high. Good. And then this joint, relax the thumb. This joint right here, we want to come up as high as we can get it. There you go. And you're clamping down there. Perfect. Amen. One more time. All 4 of these fingers underneath of that trigger. Relax them. There we go. Perfect. Football resting on that goalpost. Watch the football float on the goalpost. Watch it float. Slack out of the trigger. Sink that finger in as deep as you can.
Right here.
There you go.
Oh.
Your trigger finger. So instead of just touching the very tip of it,
Uh-huh.
sink it in there a little deeper so it's
The
natural.
left one?
What's that?
My left finger? Over here?
You're right. Your trigger finger.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. As long as it feels natural and you're coming straight back, you're
I
doing
see.
good things.
Yeah.
There you go. Build pressure, build pressure. See how still that was?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good shot.
Okay.
If you can get this gun to go click and not move, you can do that with the ammo in the gun. You just have to ignore when it goes bang or it goes click. Sound pretty good?
I got you.
All right, drill work on for you. Let's try that one-handed now. Reset your slide. Yep, perfect. All right, take the slack out with one hand. Keep it pointed down there towards the paper.
One trigger?
Yeah, point the gun. Keep it, level it off. Take your slide, bring it up like mine. There you go. Point it at the paper down there.
Oh.
Then don't raise it up to your eye. I just want you to feel the trigger. See how mine's kind of pointed like this?
Uh-huh.
There you go. Take the slack out of the trigger, build pressure on it, and let it go click. There you go. You see how it bounced a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
We want to get rid of that bounce. Slack, and just let it do its thing. There you go. See how it's moving a little bit. So when you're using just one hand, relax this hand off of there. When you're using just one hand, it's kind of difficult to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can do this one-handed, two-handed is just that much easier. Is that making sense? Slack. Watch your sight stay still as you build pressure. We don't care. There we go. It's a little bit. Do you feel that little extra pressure?
My hand shakes, so it's already
Yeah.
kind of hard. But
So if you start shaking, relax just a little bit so it just floats. Let it float. So watch my front sight. I'm just letting it float and building pressure. Slack. You can relax this one off. So the goal is to be able to press it with one hand and not have it move. Smooth press. There we go. So it's a little bit of an extra oomph. And that's okay. You're kind of new to shooting, and that's good. Feel free to holster up. I'll move on down the line. All right, feet about shoulder apart, knees slightly bent, nose over toes, arms fully extended, but not locked out. Now you got to roll aggressive lean, all right? But
Got too lean?
no,
Too
you're
aggressive?
good.
Okay.
Except you feel that I'm pushing on your heels, right?
Well, I didn't. I wasn't set, right?
Okay,
Go ahead.
you're good.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're using a lot of extra muscle,
Right.
right? So it should look like you're about to get in a fight. You don't fight like this, right?
No.
So you're probably getting a fist fight standing almost straight up, but you're leaning with your weight forward, right?
Okay.
There we go. So that's basically how you're going to
Kinda
want to be.
rough on the back, but go ahead.
But don't lean at the
Feels good.
waist. Stay straight up, right? But I want you to bend at your ankles, slightly stagger your feet,
Uh-huh.
and you're bending basically at the, there we go, like that.
Okay.
And now extend your arms out. You see how you come straight up to your eye line, and there's no extra muscles involved.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for. And I'm not pushing you over, so you're doing pretty good. Looking good. Looking good. You got a good grip. All right, that's pretty much it. Go ahead and aim at a cone for me down here, right in front of you. All right, top of this is touching the orange cone. All right, so go ahead and rack it for me. Get your grip. Keep your finger off of the trigger for a second. You're up on the frame. Is this touching the orange cone?
Yes.
Okay, and top of this is touching the orange cone?
Yes.
Good deal. If I cover that up, you're looking through the little window I made. You're seeing the white dot?
Yeah, I gotta go down. Okay.
There we go. So the top of this and the top of this should be all in the same line.
Okay.
And if you're looking through there, the way the sight will actually look, if my thumbnail is the white dot, it'll be resting on the U-shape. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So it looks like a football resting on a goalpost.
Okay.
So it's looking like that? You looking through that window, you still see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Take the slack out of the trigger. Oh, you already did. Good. Find the wall. Perfect. Just build pressure. Let the gun go click. All right, not too bad. A little bit of movement to the left. Did you see that?
Always go to the left.
Okay.
Not good.
So in order to do that, you mind if I get around on that side and press the trigger with you? All right. So I'm going to press the trigger with you. Don't move your finger. I'll move it for you. Go ahead and find the wall. And then wait at the wall. Now relax your finger, and I'll press it for you. So if you don't care when it goes bang, watch your sight. See how still that was?
Yeah.
You got to care less about when the gun is going to go bang or click, and care more about just feeling what you just felt with me. All right, let's try that one more time. Slack out. Find the wall. And then rest it right there. I'll press for you. There we go. And you don't care about when. You're just holding the sights there, right? So as I build pressure, see how still that was?
Gotcha.
So care less about when it does the thing, and care more about just coming straight back.
Keep that sight.
Keep that sight. Watch the sight stay where you want as you build pressure, and don't even worry about when. Good deal?
My knee hurts a little bit.
All right, you can go ahead and holster up if you need to take a break. And we got some chairs over here if you need them. There we go. Perfect.
Want to open it up?
No, you're good. You can leave it just like that. Has everybody been worked with? Got it. Good there? So whenever you pull from your magazine pouches or your pocket, notice I got nothing in my back pocket except for this magazine here. So instead of reaching across with your shooting hand, like this, you always want to use your support hand to grab that magazine, because this hand is for what? This hand's for shooting. This one is to support all of the other things that needs to happen with that gun. Loading the magazine, racking the slide, all of that kind of stuff. Everybody following on that one? That's why we set your magazine pouches up on your left-hand side. Good there? So whether you're coming from a pouch or a pocket, it shouldn't really matter a whole lot as long as they're pointing in the same direction, because whenever you reach down to grab your magazines, you want them to come out in the same way. Any questions on that? Good deal. So I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of a drill that we're going to do with you guys. We're going to find out what happens when the gun goes click. That's the most common stoppage when it comes to semi-automatic handguns. We just want to make sure that you can do some good things, and it gives us an opportunity to work with you and observe you handling the gun before we go live. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So once again, I'm going to check and make sure I've got no live ammunition in my gun. My safe direction, again, is going to be my tree. Bright and smiling faces once again, and we'll check it twice, maybe 3 times, just to make sure. All right, so when I load my gun, remember, it's going to be always in the same way. The back is facing away from me. My index finger's trying to feel for that first round if it can. All right, insert the magazine until what happens? What do we learn? We got it. Do we hear it or do we feel it? We're trying to feel it. If both is happening, that's good, right? But if lots of things are loud and my ears are kind of not doing what they should, I want to feel that click. So I'm going to insert aggressively until I feel the click. Then I'll reach over the back and I will slingshot. Or what's another way I can send the slide forward? I can push that with my thumb. Or what's the last way? I can use my other hand and I'll push down with this thumb. Is that making sense to everybody? If I'm really having a bad day, I might be able to reach that with that one, because this one's ambidextrous. Everybody's good with that one? All right, so typically the way I'll insert, I feel it click, and then see where my thumb is already resting and waiting? Push down. Good there? Yep. Now this spot right here is called the ejection port. Remember we went over that in class? Keep your skin away from there. We want to be operating the gun from behind there if we can. All right, especially for the day that we're having today. Everybody's good with that one? So I've inserted the magazine, I've made it ready, and it's ready to go. Now, if I sight in on my attempted target and I go click, you won't see anything. It's just going to go click. So whatever you're learning happens right here. All right, so I'm aimed in. I build pressure on the trigger. It goes click. If I was expecting a bang and I get a click instead, what should I do? How do I fix this problem? Finger off. Tap the bottom of the magazine. What does this do for me? Make sure it's seated fully. Then I'll reach over the back and I will what? Slingshot. So what do we see? Old ammo went out, the bad one went out, and a new one went in. And I'll sight in and I'll try it again. Nothing happened, right? So what do? Finger off, tap, rack. Now what do I assess has happened right here? It's empty, right? Because it stayed locked to the rear, I see that it's empty. What do I want to reach for first? I'm going to reach for my fresh source first. So I'm going to try and do two things at the same time. I'm going to try to find the button and find the magazine. Is that making sense? Once I know I got a magazine, notice that this is still vertical, it's straight up and down. I want gravity to help me drop that magazine out of the way. So once I find both, now I can find the button, find the magazine. This is my next step. I want to make sure that that goes in right there. I'm looking for this little bevel right here to get that to go in. As soon as I feel that going in, where's my thumb already waiting? On the release. So as soon as that goes in there, I'm looking for my target. When I feel it click, that slide goes forward and I can go back to work. Does that make sense to everybody? If I don't have any target down there, do I need to have my finger on the trigger? No. If I don't have a threat down there, I don't need to shoot anything, then what am I doing? I'm looking around, make sure there's nobody else that needs any help. Everybody's good with that one? All right. So the drill we're going to end up using for you guys, you've got 2 magazines, and we've got 2 dummy rounds in each one. So you get an opportunity for 4 clicks and 1 reload. Everybody's good with that? All right. So you'll sight in on your targets down there when we give you a minute. You'll build pressure on the trigger, let it go click, finger off, tap, rack, and try it again. Finger off, tap, rack. Reach for my fresh source first, and go back to work. Good with that? If you run out completely, what do? Run away. All right. Now, for you guys, you're not going to run away. We got guns out. We don't want people running around the range and all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and remove the magazine. You can check twice, make sure it's empty, slide forward. You can holster up. Now, what I will ask of you, because we got a bunch of Easter eggs now on the ground, remember orange dummy rounds, before you bend over, start picking everything else up, make sure everybody else is in the holster. Once we declare the line safe, then it's okay to pick up your magazines and do what you do. What we don't want is having guns out and people picking up gear on the ground. Any questions for me on that? I got to be more festive. Orange is not enough. What's orange? Candy corn. Oh, that's good. All the candy corn on the ground. Yeah, don't hunt for your candy corn on the ground until everybody's in the holster. All right, now if you lose your stuff, these dummy rounds, if you can't find all 4 of them when we're done, not a huge deal. Just remember they all go that way out of your guns. So we'll start looking in that direction. But if you can't find them, not a big deal. We'll get some more and we'll take care of you. Any questions for me on the drill? All right, I'm going to get back here behind the line. There we go. Now we got it. Good stance. Flat. Confirm your sights the way you want them. Let's drop this finger down. There you go. Watch the front sight float in the middle and just build pressure. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. That's looking great. Finger off the trigger, holster up. I think that's 25 rounds per minute. We'll see, yeah, we'll see how we did. Come on down.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of something else. Okay.
Get you a good grip. There you go. This thumb underneath of this one. Left thumb, go ahead. There we go. Let's take this one out of here and go underneath. There it is.
Why don't I just do that?
It's just going to take a little bit of practice. So we'll get you to put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up. And once you get that, then you'll be good. All right, so remember, nose over toes. Good. Arms fully extended but not locked out. Go ahead and take it to the wall now. Find the wall and just hang out there. Now football through the goalpost and just build pressure on it and let it do its thing. Remember this handsaw. Let the tool do the work. We're just going to build pressure, build pressure, build pressure, build pressure. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. Let it float. Just build pressure. A little bit more. Finger off. And then bring your elbows in. Perfect. You're right in the circle. You're doing great. All right. Let's try it again. Sight in. You got it. Thumbs on this side. Take this whole left hand off. Oh, there you go. Point the thumb at the target. Left thumb. left thumb. And come underneath of the other one. Yep, so relax this guy. All right, so here's your thumb, I got your hand. See how it's pointed at the target?
Yeah.
And you place it right there.
What happens if you shoot it and your hand isn't exactly where it's supposed to be?
Your hand placement and the pressure is all about recoil control and being able to follow up with another shot. Remember, we're shooting for defensive purposes. So we want all the weight, there we go, all the weight to be forward. Slack out of the trigger. Place your finger on naturally. Just place your trigger finger on the trigger naturally. There we go. Perfect. Bring it back to the wall and hang out there. Find where it gets tight. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. All right, right about there. It got tight? Okay. Now we line up the sights, make sure they're perfect, and then just build pressure. A little bit more. Keep going. A little. Hey, there you go. How was that shot? Finger off the trigger? Good. And we're back here. So those two that are wild, right? That's from me like doing this earlier, right?
I know, you do.
Everything else is right in the middle of that circle.
Right.
So keep your confidence up. Every time you pull out the pistol, I can do this. I'm a good shot, and I hit what I aim at. When you succeed here, you're absolutely going to succeed there.
Did you make those holes?
Absolutely.
See?
All right, let me have two of them this time. All right, get your grip the same way. Remember, we're making a gun. Right hand thumb goes up. Left hand thumb goes underneath. Trigger finger goes natural on the trigger. There we go. Remember, nose over toes.
That's right. I was
You got it.
Aaron,
Slack out of the trigger.
watch him with his ears. Judge Palumbo keeps taking them off.
All right, finger off the trigger and relax. We gotta get you some ear. Okay, good. You got any eye protection? Take a couple feet back for me. You'll be good. Thank you, sir. All right, slack out of the trigger. Place it on there a little natural. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so you're holding at the wall. Make sure your football's on the goal post. And just give it a little more. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And keep going, a little bit. There it is.
All right, shot
Finger
him
off.
in the neck. That's
Did
good.
that go off?
Finger off, finger off. There you go,
Go to
and
the
then bring it
chest.
in. So that one off to the right. Remember, when you add pressure, that's what happens. I'll press the trigger for you a couple of times, and then we'll get you back at it. All right? Make the gun on your right hand. Take your left hand off. There you go. Make the gun with your right hand. Stick that thumb up in the air. There you go. Other hand comes underneath like this. Underneath. There it is. Stretch that thumb out just a little bit. Bring it up. There it is. And then we want to crush back here. Perfect. Nose over toes. There we go. Slack out of the trigger. There we go. And now we aim and just build pressure. If you're anywhere in that circle, just keep building pressure until the saw does the work. Watch the front sight. Stay on it.
Okay.
And build pressure while you're looking at the front sight. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Just keep building pressure until something happens. There we go. Finger off the trigger. And there you go.
Forward!
And then
Easy money. All right, holster up. Go ahead and holster. So whenever we come back.
Oh, wait, I have to do
No,
this
you're
first.
okay. Just go ahead and holster, just like
Oh,
you
okay.
are. Perfect. Okay. Bring it in like, oh, look. I had to lose yours.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So, when you're here, slack out. We'll aim, and we're just going to build pressure until something happens. And the goal is to keep the hand still and only move the trigger. Do that. Okay? All right, let's try some more. I'll press for you if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not going to care because I'm pressing the trigger, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Aim in the middle of the head for me.
Okay, wait a minute.
So,
I'm
get rid of this gap. There we go.
pressing forward.
Fingers on the frame until we're ready. And then this thumb under here, we're just going to put it on the frame.
Okay.
Good deal, Mark. A little bit of pressure right there. All right? So, remember, nose over toes. You got it. Your toes should be digging through your shoes in the ground. All right? Find the wall. There's the wall, right? You feel it?
Yeah.
Are you aiming at the head?
Yeah. Oh, no.
There we go. Middle of the head.
Okay.
All right? So you're just aiming at the head. Float, let it float in the middle. I'll build pressure for you.
Okay.
All right? Football through the goalpost,
Yeah.
and you're looking at the front sight. We're just going to build pressure, build pressure. Did you hit the head?
I think I did.
You did. It's easy, right?
I almost didn't, but
It's
I
easy.
did.
So that's good. You're good. Just keep it pointed at the target. We're good.
Okay.
All right, sight in again. Now make sure that football is resting on the. You don't have to rack
I don't
it.
have to do that.
Yep, it did its job for us.
Okay, so put this here.
You got it. This hand underneath.
This one way up. This one's underneath.
Underneath.
Just
There we
like
go.
that.
And all your skin needs to be on the
This
frame.
one's like that.
Perfect. See how your trigger finger and your thumb are touching the same thing?
Okay.
That's what we're looking for. And then we're crushing right here. That's it. So if you start to crush and it starts shaking, relax a little bit. Just a little. All right, let's get aimed in again. find the wall. Go ahead and touch the trigger. Touch the trigger, find the wall. Nice and easy. You can find it. There it is. There's the wall. Football through the goalpost. Are you aiming at the chest or the head?
The chest.
All right. Right at the X is that football touching. Let's go nose over toes.
That's right.
There we go.
That's right.
Football touch. There it is. So we were thinking about all kinds of other stuff, and what was I doing the whole time?
You were pulling it back.
Were you watching the front sight?
Yeah.
What'd the front sight do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because you didn't care when it went bang.
Right.
That's the trick.
Right.
We just got to focus on this being smooth and watch the front sight stay where we want, and the shots will go exactly where you need them to go.
All right.
Is that making sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and remove the magazine. So we're going to push all the way on the front edge of this guy. There we go. All right, and rack that for me one time. Make sure that it's empty. There you go. And you're good. Go ahead and holster up. Put your gun in the holster. There it is. You're all set. Does that make sense?
You make perfect sense. You're wonderful.
It might just take a little bit of practice. And if we need some more one-on-one time, then we'll get some more one-on-one time. Okay. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Let's
right.
make sure you got your magazines, and I think the judge is going to want to shoot on this one too, if you're all right with that.
Do you need me for anything else?
Like, holy cow. And then you try and time it, and you're trying to get it right in the middle right now, and then you throw the shot. So the goal back here is to hold equal height, equal light, be watching that front sight. Let it float anywhere on the silhouette. As long as it's on the silhouette, remember the drill we did where I was shaking like this? As long as it's floating on the silhouette, just keep building pressure. Just build a pressure, and do what? Let it go, let it go. You hear that song, right? That's what we're looking to do back here. So as long as you're smooth on the trigger, and you watch the sight stay on the target, let the tool do the work, and you'll be all right. All right, let's give it a shot. Go ahead, draw out your pistol, and we're going to reload from here. All right, so go ahead and drop the old one on the ground, ring that button like a doorbell. This one down here. You got it. All new stuff.
Sorry.
All right, I'll hold your gun for a second. Go ahead. Go ahead and get a fresh magazine. I know we didn't fill one.
There's one back here somewhere.
You got it. And yeah, that'll work. We're just going to shoot 5 back here. Remember, pointing in towards the back.
That's what I had first.
You got it. All right. And get a good grip. Reach over the back and slingshot. Finger off. Finger off. There we go. Now you can slingshot. You got it.
Well,
pull back. Yep. Just pull it back.
It's not.
It'll go click. Just pull a little bit harder. And let
Oh,
go.
okay.
You got it.
I
Good
thought
job.
I was doing something.
Remember, we're
wrong.
going to make a gun with the right hand.
Yeah.
Other hand, we're touching all 4 fingers underneath.
I'll come
Perfect.
here. This
You
one's
got
gonna
it.
come here.
Nice. Good job.
All
All right,
right.
we'll move that down just a hair.
What?
It's just a 22. It doesn't like to cycle very much anyway. Remember, nose over toes.
Nose over toe.
Good. Equal height, equal light. Go ahead and find the wall. Take all that slack out. Confirm your sights are the way you want them. And don't care about when it goes bang. Just build pressure until it does. Watch the sight. Build pressure. Same thing. Keep a little bit more.
That I did wrong.
That's okay. Let it go. What's the song say?
Let it go.
We don't care about that shot. All right, let's try another one.
All right.
All right.
So,
Get your grip. Good there. All right, point at the target. Take the slack out of the trigger. Remember, nose over toes. All right. Confirm your sights. Equal height, equal light. Clear front sight. Build a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And we don't care when. Just keep building pressure until something happens. Watch that sight. Float in the target. It's okay. If you need to take a break, relax, you can. All right. Let's get your 2 hands back together. All 4 of these underneath. You got it. Good.
step forward.
Perfect.
This one up, this one down.
That's a great looking grip. Good job.
Okay.
All right. Slack out of the trigger. Find your sights. Put them where you want. Build pressure. And we don't care when. Just feel the trigger be smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth.
All right, wait a minute.
All right. Finger off the trigger. Relax. We'll start it over.
Yeah.
Good. Check your grip. Check your stance.
Stand.
Good.
All right.
Slack. Sights are good.
Yeah.
All right. Now just build pressure on it. Smooth and steady. Straight back. Keep building. Keep building. Keep building. As long as it's in the silhouette, just keep
I don't
moving.
know why I'm having
Having a hard time.
maybe my finger's not
Now,
right.
when you come out of the eye line, take your finger way out. There you go.
Okay. All right, this time I'll do it.
Okay. Just that there. There you go. And we'll get some more one-on-one with you. Slack out. Good sights. They got a little bit of a gap here. Finger off. Let's bring it back in. There you go. Slack. There you go. Confirm your sights are where you want them. Just build pressure. Smooth press, smooth. Perfect. How still was that? Finger off the trigger?
Yeah.
All right. For this thumb. So all 4 of these guys are touching underneath. There we go. And we'll uncross these thumbs. There we go. Drop them all of them drop down one. Perfect. That's it right there. We'll get you set up before you leave. Nose over toes. Slack out of the trigger. Confirm your sights look the way you want. And we're just going to build pressure until something happens. Watch the sight float. A little bit more press. A little bit more press. Watch the sight float. There we go. All right, let me check. And we're going to see how we're doing. We got a good job.
Okay.
Nose over toes.
Nose over toes.
Good. Slack out. Confirm your sights. Equal height, equal light. Watch that front one float as you build pressure. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Perfect. Finger off. Tap. Rack. There we go. Now we're good. All right, let's try it again. Get your grip.
Okay.
That's why I like using this 22 ammo. You get a lot of clicks. All right.
Okay.
That's looking good. Down under the frame, and you're looking solid. All right. Stance. Grip is good. Slack out. Confirm your sights are where you want them. Build pressure. Hard focus on that front sight. Smooth press all the way at the same time. That looked amazing.
Was that good?
That was good.
Yay.
All right. Holster